What's good, everybody? It's your man CJ Kyles checking in once again, back with another video. Got a heck of a show today for y'all, man, and I'm looking forward to everybody joining in. I cannot wait to see. I just can't wait to chop it up. But let me not hold this any longer. I have a special guest that's here on the panel with me. Shout out to the homie Malik. He is an RN, and
What's going on, everybody?
you seen Malik on my old channel before it got deleted. But I'm glad to have him back today. We have another guest that should be coming on soon, and we just gonna chop it up. Now I know today's topic we were talking about. Do advanced degrees, are they a waste of time? That was today's topic because I actually saw a post in a group, a nursing group that I'm in, and I thought it raised an interesting question because some of the people were giving a viewpoints on why getting an advanced degree they felt like was a waste of money and a waste of time. I'm actually gonna try to find the post. I snapshotted a picture of the post, but um I'm gonna try to find it. But Brandon, I mean not Brandon, but Malik, my bad, bro. Tell the people about yourself, man. Tell them about just give them some insight on you.
My name is Malik. I've been an RN over 3.5 years now.
Hmm.
Been traveling for about two and a quarter of those years. Enjoying it, man. Just on the road. Got used to the lifestyle. Started enjoying the lifestyle. Missed them a little bit, but you kind of suck that up. Been traveled. I traveled to Florida, South Carolina, Charlotte, um, Texas, Indiana. Kind of been all over so far. Just enjoying it, man.
Got you. So 3 years. You've been an RN for 3 years. So let me just ask you real quick. What inspired you to become a nurse? What was one of the things that made you want to even get in the game? Was it something you always wanted to do? Um yeah, what made you want to do it?
So honestly, as a kid, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be into making money. Um, I did grow up without my dad, so I moved down south. I had an uncle-in-law who was a nurse, and I kind of just went under his wing. I went to a school known for nursing. Um, and honestly, when I got there, and my course of study was already nursing, and then like when you're introducing people and class and stuff, introducing yourself, they ask you like, "Yo, where you from? Your major?" I told them nursing. That you could, yo, bro. When you say nursing at this school, they tell you, "Are you sure?" You know it's
Mm,
hard. And my mentality since I was young, I'm uber competitive. So as soon as somebody heard, I'm like, "Bro, who y'all think I am? A poo butt?"
right, right.
So I mean, that actually gave me even more of a drive. It's like, all right, y'all really sleeping on me like I'm just a regular person. I'm just like, bro, I've never been regular in my life. I've never been cool being content or regular. So pretty much being raised under my uncle's wing, went into nursing, and I honestly thought it was a great field. I always have a job, great baseline or great basement. I'll make 60,000 my worst year at least. Then the amount of opportunity for growth was great.
Hmm.
Whereas you could travel nurse, you could get into nurse management, you got to get into CRNA, MP. I mean, and more than that, I can't even name honestly. It's a plethora. But yeah, that's pretty much what nursing degree came down to.
Mm. Man, that's what's up. So what was the schooling process like? I know you just mentioned that it was a rigorous or people looked at you and was like, what, you doing that? So I'm assuming they gave you that reaction because it must have been a difficult program. So if you could explain what was the process like, or what was it like as a whole going through that in nursing school?
Well, so the school has strict guidelines for getting into the program, or even being considered for the program.
Hmm.
So and I think you couldn't. You had to get at least a B in your sciences. You couldn't. You had to get a certain ACT or SAT score. Um, and like it was set guidelines from the very get go. So you already knew they weren't playing that stuff. It wasn't no if, answer, buts. It was set guidelines. I think they accepted like 80 people. First summer was tough. It was pretty much like the weed out summer. So pretty much they try to weed you out in the prereqs and the first year, the first semester of nursing school,
Mm-hmm.
just to like pretty much see who's really dedicated to this. So, and me, I pretty much did. I got out my bachelor's, but I applied for a bunch of scholarships, so I actually did an extra year, just because I was getting paid to go to school pretty much. So
Mm,
so I'm like, shit, who wouldn't want to be at school with
no, that.
extra year of college? Yeah, extra year of college, everything that entails in that, and I mean, get paid to do it. So I'm like, why not? But yeah, I mean, the course study was ridiculous. I mean, pretty much my whole work, like my whole day was like legit planned. Where I went to the gym 5 in the morning, then 5 to 7. I used to go home, take a shower, be at school at 8. I used to be in the library from 8 to 10 studying, going to class from 10 to 2, 2 to 3 sometimes. Go home, take a little hour nap, go to work 5 to 1, and like that was my legit schedule all the way up until nursing school.
Mm, okay. Okay. So, what were some of the things that you had to give up in order to become successful in nursing school? Because from what you say, it's already a difficult process getting into the actual program. So, while being in the program, what were some of the sacrifices that you had to make? Like, if somebody's watching us right now and they considering going into the program, like, what would you say are some of the necessary things that they have to do in order to be successful within their program?
The biggest thing for me that I also see my other students was the financial part, because the course of study is so vigorous that it's hard to balance a full-time school schedule and a full-time work schedule. So one of the things that I did was, like I said, I applied for a bunch of scholarships, at
Mhm.
least 7 to 10. So pretty much what I did was I used my refund to pay up all my bills until the next refund.
Gotcha.
So, and then I still worked normally 2 days out the week. If I had some extra time, I'll do three. But I that's pretty much what I did. I just, and it worked for me. I so like pretty much I just worked to kind of like supplement my lifestyle. Well, all my bills and stuff were paid for 6 months till the next refund.
Mhm.
I just kept doing that really. And
So,
summers I worked two jobs every summer.
do you have any kids or anything like that? Just for the audience.
No kids, single. Just
Single.
kind of focus on the bag right now, really.
Got you. Got you. Well, y'all hear that, ladies and gentlemen. He sacrificed, had to grind it out. What would you say, in your opinion, when you went through nursing school? What do you say was the most stressful part? What do you get stressed? Were you stressed? What was the most stressful part? Because I remember in my program, when I was doing the LPN program, I had never heard of any other program where you couldn't get less than like an 85% on a test. That was new to me. And I know when we started the program, like if you got less than 85%, you failed.
Yeah,
And that was a kind of pressure that I had never felt before. You know what I'm saying? Because all through school, 85%, that's a B. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like you Gucci, but like, no, not here. 85%, you out of here, bro. I mean, less than that, you out of here. So that was one of the most stressful parts for me. But what was one of the most stressful parts for you?
My school, the way it works is you have the syllabus is a syllabus, but what
Right.
they did was you have the original test. Then if anybody failed, you have a retake, or not.
Okay.
Not well, yeah. But so say you didn't do as good as you wanted to do in the first test.
Mhm.
Then, if you didn't, you have to study for the next test, and still have to study, well, for the retest, and still have to study for the test following that. So the stressful part was like, if I could go all in on the original test, I could focus more on the next test rather than a retest.
Right.
So, but it kind of just gives you, if you didn't do good on the original test, it made it more stressful for the retest. But now you have to do good on this one. But I
Mm.
think that was the most stressful part for me. But like I grew up in the projects. Like I mean, I think that was way harder than the nursing school. Like as far as like stress. Like all right, I had to read my fucking book and like do good in school. Like okay, I'm sign me up.
Right, 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 right. I hear you, bro. I hear you. Yeah, man. I think with nursing school, it teaches you a lot though about yourself. It teaches you what you're made of. It shows you what you're made of. And let me get show some respect to the people that's commenting. Hey, shout out to Henry. What's going on? Just received my temporary CNA certification. My guy, I'm happy for you, bro. I'm so proud of you, man. Um, James says salute. Shout out to James. Shout out to Lucky Chucky. Shout out to the Antisocial Elite Podcast checking in with a like and a comment. I appreciate that. That's our friend Lady A from London just checking in, and I appreciate it. Shout out to Miss Nikki Nicole, another nurse in the building.
This shit booming.
Appreciate you. Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate y'all being here right now. And I just have Nurse Malik here, registered Nurse Malik in here. We chopping up some game right now, talking about just nursing and how he got started within his career. Now, Nurse Malik, let me ask you a question. Would you recommend what type of person do you feel would be a good fit for nursing? Like if you could recommend nursing to a certain type of individual, who would you recommend it to?
I think if you're calm under pressure,
Okay.
because you gotta understand you're dealing with people's lives, and then you have family there. It's like if things go haywire, you're supposed to be the calm one
Yeah.
and the one goal oriented on saving this patient life.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be the one like looking like a chicken with your head cut off.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to be that person. So if you're cool under situations, and if you understand nursing interventions, and like you just goal oriented, and like I think that's the person you need to do it. If you're not really prepared to see blood, or like you bring work home with you and you can't sleep and stuff, it's not really a job for you, honestly, in my opinion.
Mm, that's what's up. Shout out to Nurse Brandon in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, Nurse Brandon just popped on. How you doing this afternoon, sir? We just got off a great live stream Patreon. Shout out to Anton Daniels. How you doing, Brandon?
Doing good, man. I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
That's what's up, man. I'm happy to have you here. Brandon was chopping up some game in the Patreon. Hopefully, we can bring some of them gems here. Brandon, if you don't mind, I was talking to Nurse Malik about how he got into the game. Brandon, can you give the people like a synopsis on how you got into the game? What made you want to become a nurse?
Oh, just a nurse in general. To be honest, my mom is a nurse, so
Okay.
I actually went to 4 year university and got a degree in biology, and I realized I wasn't gonna be no biologist, so I had to pick a career. So I quickly shifted to something that I was really going to do physical therapy, but I looked at like the outcome of the career, and I saw like after you become a physical therapist, there was nowhere else you could go. It was just like that was it. And being
Mm,
a nurse, it was flexible. You could be a travel nurse, you could be an ICU nurse, you could be a dialysis nurse, you could be a case manager, you could work in nursing informatics. There was so many other realms you could go into, and you could kind of shift every 4 or 5 years and feel like a whole new profession. So I got into the game because I was kind of, I guess, born into it. My mom was a nurse, and then all her friends are my godmoms. So all my godparents are nurses. I guess it's just something that kind of trickled down to me. Um, and then I eventually just went to nursing school, and I got a bachelor's degree in 12 months. I did an accelerated program, so
yeah.
um, I definitely lucked up and got a bachelor's degree in 12 months, and I think it was definitely worth it.
That's what's up. Do you feel like let me ask you, did you grow up wanting to be a nurse? Like or like have any like I may do this, I may not, or was it something in the back of your head, or you was just like, nah, not really?
So I knew I want to do something with like sports because I was I played sports in college and I was just always active. Um, and I always thought I was going to do something like sports medicine related, like sports medicine, physical therapy, working with athletes. Kind of going through a couple of injuries, you kind of rehab them, and you kind of feel like um that's what you want to do. But then when you pick a career, you got to look at the outcome, where you headed, the trajectory of what you're doing, where you like what you're doing. And then also in rehab, like rehabbing people, I realized it wasn't all about athletes. It was more about like people who had strokes, had weaknesses, and came back. Um, so it kind of stunted my growth a little bit. I kind of wanted to just take some time and kind of pick something that I knew I could kind of have a lot of flexibility with.
Bet. Bet. I asked Nurse Malik, what type of person do you feel like should get into nursing, or what type of person do you feel like would be good at nursing? And I just want your thoughts as well, since I asked Nurse Malik that question.
Um, I don't think there's one approach to nursing because of my mindset. I feel like if you like a desk job, there's desk jobs in nursing. If you
Yeah.
like IT jobs, there's IT jobs in nursing. If you like patient care, there's patient care jobs in nursing. If you like, um, there's flight. If you like to travel, there's flight nurses. There's travel nurses. It all depends on what you like to do. I think if you become a nurse, or if you are a nurse, you could always find a niche that suits you and your lifestyle. Now you might have to move and you might have to travel for it, but it's definitely something that you could like and enjoy the field. So I think it really depends on people. But I would say from a framework, I'm gonna say people who willing to put other people before themselves. Because when I'm at work, all my attention goes to my patient, and it's not about what I want, what I need. It's all about am I to my patient. My patient say I need this, I need that. So it's really about putting the patients before yourself 12 hours. So you kind of have to be that person that's willing to put people or the needs of other people before yours. Be a servant.
Right.
Um, and also, I mean, of course, there's somebody who can think quickly, somebody who could critically think, somebody who can manage their time wisely. Um, but I think anybody who decides that nursing is a career for them could easily do it if they just understand time management, patience, and perseverance, and willing to endure what it takes and figure out their niche really in nursing.
Bet. Bet. Now, today's topic, I wanted to talk about if an advanced degree is a waste of time and money. Now, that topic was brought up because, or was inspired because I saw a post earlier today in one of the nursing groups that I'm in. I'm not going to say the name of the group, but I mean, I'll tell y'all offline, but if y'all really want to know, but I will share the post because I do think it's an important question. And the post is, I'm just going to say it. Any degree higher than a ASN or ADN is just a ploy to make secondary education schools more money and to keep us in debt and broke. I am a DNP. And for those of you who don't know what a DNP is, Doctor of Nurse Practitioner,
Mhm.
and the amount of student loans I have compared to the amount of money I am making just doesn't match up. All you nurses out here looking to get more advanced degrees, please think about what you are doing. If you don't have a plan for how you are going to use your degree, then please take a moment to think about it. Anything greater than a ASN or ADN is a scam. And for those of you who don't know what ADN is, that's Associate's Degree of Nursing, with the exception of CRNA. Yep, I said it. So that was that person's post. And I just thought that was an interesting conversation. And shout out to Nurse Dow
Hello.
who just showed up. Nurse Dow,
Yeah,
did you get that post?
I did see that on the page. Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. So for those of you who don't know who Nurse Dow is, Nurse Dow, just tell the people who you are real quick. Real.
Oh, you put me on the spot. Hi, I'm Nurse Dow. I'm from Michigan. I don't know where all y'all are from. I'm a travel nurse and infection preventionist. I'm a registered nurse also. That's pretty much it about me, nursing wise. I've been a nurse for about 8 years.
Bet, bet. Real cool. That's what's up. So, I'll start with you, Nurse Dow. Based off the post that I just read, do you feel like it's a waste of time and money to get anything higher than the ADN?
I feel like in some cases, yes. I kind of agree with what the poster said. Unless you're going for something, like advanced practice, like a CRNA, then it could be depending upon what you want to do. Because I've done a lot, like with when I was ADN, I did a whole lot from director of nursing, from teaching, ADN level clinicals, and classroom. And I just think that we get very caught up in degrees, and I think it is like more of a money thing with these institutions versus a nursing thing.
Mm, okay. Nurse Malik, what do you think about the post that the lady put?
I think you have to understand like what's your long term goal in it. I think short term, ADN is fine, short term. But say like you want to start a family, you want to be more home, so you don't want to travel. So I think the degrees mean stuff if you want to climb that corporate ladder. Like we obviously know there is a glass ceiling there with the ADN as far as like going up throughout the hospital system. So if you want to go that route, which makes more sense for somebody who's like home based, maybe have a family and they want to be at home every night, or say, like I said, CRNA makes a lot of sense if that's the route you want to go. I think just you got to understand the type of person you are, your family situation, and how much you're willing to sacrifice.
Mm. Shout out to Nurse Shay in the comments. Nurse Shay, I just sent you the link to come on in if you want to. Nurse Shay is another YouTube nurse. She be spitting game and dropping facts. Put me on a whole lot of stuff. So, Nurse Malik, Nurse Brandon. I'm sorry. What do you think about that post?
Um, I think it's not a waste of time if you plan on using it. Um, if your dream was always be a nurse practitioner, go ahead and do it. Because at the end of the day, everybody's plan in nursing is different, and it's like any career. Everybody start off, maybe med surg, ICU, but if your goal is always to be a psych nurse practitioner, go be a psych nurse practitioner. I know a lot of nurse practitioners that's doing floor nursing today, and guess what? After the pandemic, they could always go back to the psych nurse practitioner. So I don't think that's true. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think anything above a BSN, I think you need that BSN because a lot of hospitals a lot of academic facilities aren't hiring a lot of ADN nurses. Now, I'm
Mm.
not saying you can't get money without it, because you definitely can. Like you can get the bag without it, but you
Mm-hmm.
might have to navigate around it a little bit. And for hospitals that's like on that magnet journey, or certain hospitals, they really believe there's a difference between the ADN and the bachelor's level nursing, and on the floor there is no major difference.
Mm.
Um, so I'm not going to agree with that post, because it depends on where you see yourself 10 years from now. If you always wanted to be a nursing informatic nurse doing IT work, no amount of bad nursing gonna get you where you need to be. So it depends on your end goal. Um, and is CRNA worth it? I think it's worth it. I mean, especially if you plan on being in the field. I think any nursing degree is worth it if you plan on being in that field for 10 to 15 years. So if you get nurse practitioner, you become a nurse practitioner for 10 years, I think it's worth it. You happy, you fulfilled what you wanted to do. And I know from talking to you two guys, me, I'm more about the finances, so maybe not for me, but I have a bachelor's. But I will just say that if my goal was to be a nurse practitioner, I will go ahead and get it. I'll pay for it. Or work at a hospital and pay for it, and I work for them for 2 or 3 years. Um, but I definitely think it depends on your goals and what you want out of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that if you want to really get it, then get it. But I don't think that it's necessary to get anything. I don't think it's necessary if you want to get a bag. But I probably would recommend somebody get a BSN. at least, if you're really trying to make some good money. But let me ask you something. Nurse Dow,
Mhm.
was nursing, what made you get into nursing? Was money motive, was that your primary motivation, or what was your motivation for getting into it?
Honestly, I can't say money was my primary motivation. I kind of wanted to just make a difference in the
Do
community,
do you
especially
think
like,
that's wrong if people get into it for mainly the money?
I mean, I think all in all, it's still a career, so it has, has to financially make sense, especially when you're going to college and you're going to rack up all that debt or pay out of pocket. But I just feel like what we do, you have to care in some aspect. You can't. I don't think it's right for it to just, a person just to be in nursing just strictly for the money,
Yeah.
Mm. What
especially
about you?
management
Oh,
roles.
go ahead, what was you about to say?
Now, I say especially in management roles, because I think sometimes people get so far removed from the bedside, and just coming from a person who has been in clinical leadership, a lot of times you're the only person with any clinical background in the conversation. So you're talking to, administrators, maybe COOs, and they're very much so about the numbers and very much so about, making money. So you kind of have to you have to care a little bit because you're the only person to speak up for the patients sometimes.
Mm, mm. That's an interesting point, because one thing that I've noticed, and I'm starting to notice more and more as I get further along in my career, is that this is a business
Hmm.
at the end of the day. Like especially working in some of these skilled nursing facilities, like they will take, if the numbers ain't where they need to be, people will start to take whatever they can, whatever they can. And I had did a reaction to a video where these nurses were talking about strike nursing and scabs and all that. How do y'all feel about that? I want, if we could just transition into that. How do y'all feel about people who take strike assignments? Do you think it's wrong? Do you think that crossing the strike line is bad? I mean, what do you think? Let me see. Brandon, what do you think about strike nursing?
So strike nursing is always is 90 times, I would say 9 times out of 10, a strike happens when a hospital and a group of nurses or a union can't come to an agreement. And usually it means compensating nurses more. So I definitely see a double-edged sword when I say that, when you go to a strike, you are replacing nurses that's on staff that's probably not being compensated, but then you're compensated probably twice as much as they normally are, or even 3 times. And right
Mm,
now we probably see a four. So
mm,
um is a strike bad? To be honest, I don't know too many strikes where the hospital didn't compensate the nurses at the end of the day. Um And I'm gonna just say this: most strikes don't last that long. There are there's a couple that goes outside of the 2 week period, but it is a double edged sword, and you are replacing nurses that would normally work in that hospital or that in that system. And and life is. I mean, I'm gonna put it like this: I just think it could be seen as a negative because you are basically replacing nurses that's trying to fight for a higher wage or for better benefits.
okay,
I just think sometimes it really depends on how you see it. I see it from a financial standpoint, so I'm okay with it. Okay,
that's a
I'm okay with
fact.
it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm all about, because like I said, man, my mentality is that these people, like these nursing companies, these owners, these hospitals, it's all a number. And I agree with Nurse Doll when she says you do have to have some sort of compassion and care, but at the same time, you also have to be loyal to your pockets, because the company and the facilities, they're gonna be loyal to theirs. Whether you super nurse, whether you super ethical, whether you super moral based, because let's just keep it real, you would not be a nurse for $5 an hour. Nobody would do it. So I think you have to have you just have to know yourself as a nurse. But the same question to you, Malik, what do you feel about the strike nurses and people that cross the strike line? Are they scabs to you? Because this is a new term to me, scabs. So what do you think about that?
I'm not hating on nobody getting the bag. I
Right.
just I don't have it in me. I can't play a hate. I really can't. And I think, especially during the pandemic, I think when it first happened, a lot of people got laid off. Like people in the OR had to like use PTO to even
Mm,
get paid, labor delivery. I mean, it's like don't get too caught up in your role to where you think this hospital owe you anything. It's
Mm.
like, bro, we're here to work and get the money and bring it home. Take care of your patients. I mean, that's rule number one. But don't get too caught up in the hospital politics to where you hating the other nurses for doing what you should be doing.
Mm.
I think you call somebody out on that. I think you're taking your job like that's your life. It's like, bro, like everybody trying to take care of their family. Like scab or no scab, like yo, I got a family to feed. You can't. How you gonna hate on me? I
Mm.
should prioritize you over my family. Like, what world are we living in?
Nurse Dial, give it to me. What you thinking? How you feel about the strike, the scabbers? Are you a scabber? Would you take a strike assignment?
Probably I probably am a scabber, but kind of like like you said, it's kind of a double edged sword. But I kind of think about it like financially, agency coming in any building is just a bad financial move for the hospital in the first place. That's a whole lot of money they got to pay. Way more money than they're going to pay their nurses, obviously. So I wouldn't really refer to them as scabs because technically they're billing the hospital at a very high rate. So the hospital can't afford that because they can't afford to pay the people they got there already, or they don't want to afford the people who they got already, to get paid more. So I think almost scabs might help the strike sometimes because I mean you can't pay these high bill rates forever. So
Mm.
eventually, it could push the hospital to negotiate whatever they're trying to negotiate, whether it's benefits, whether it's pay or whatever. But I don't see anything wrong because somebody has to take care of the patients. But like you
Right.
kind of said, it's a double-edged sword because it's like, okay, these people are trying to make a statement. These people are trying to, get their point across. And, we're not really helping by like staff in the hospital. But financially,
So,
anyway.
so are you loyal to the culture of nursing? Because I've been seeing that around too. Are you loyal to the culture of nursing,
Which,
or are you loyal to yourself more?
when you say the culture of nursing, what do you mean?
Because people will say, well, you're not being loyal to the culture when you invite me in the live. People say you're not loyal to the culture when you cross that line. You're
Well,
not being loyal to your fellow nurses, your nurse sisters. And my question is there loyalty in nursing?
what about the patients, though? Like, wouldn't that be part of being loyal to the culture of nursing, taking care of the patients?
Mm,
They essentially left, or are they being loyal to nursing if they walked out? Which I'm not saying they shouldn't, because if you feel like you should get paid more or you should get better benefits, by all means, do it. Advocate for yourself. Just like we got to be patient advocates, we got to advocate for ourselves. But at the same time, if you saying I'm not being loyal to nursing because I'm being a scab, are you being loyal because you just walked off the floor?
mm, mm. Okay. All right. Brandon, I know you said you looked at it from a financial aspect though. Are you loyal to the nursing culture? Do you have some loyalty based on that, or are you more loyal to them pockets?
To be honest, my loyalty remains with my family, and to my patients. I mean, I don't care the patients in Georgia, Atlanta, or they're in California, they're in Miami, they're in, long when I'm clocked in, I'm gonna give my all to my patients. And at the end of the day, when you retire from nursing, it's like high school. When you work in there, all you guys gonna be friends. But when you leave and retire from that job, you ain't gonna see no more, nobody else from that old job no more. And I'm pretty sure other people on this podcast who've been nurse for more than 2 or 3 years, they can probably say that when they left a job, they didn't really keep in touch with that many nurses no more from that job.
Mm,
Your manager don't call you no more. You can't clock in for them.
right. Right.
So my loyalty is with my family because they always gonna be there. At the end of the day, whether I decide I want to give up nursing or I want to continue nursing or nurse for another 10 years, my family's gonna remain the same. My coworkers gonna change, the patient's gonna change, but my family's not.
Okay. All right. Um, cool. Well, you made a good point actually. The length. Nurse, nurse, let me see. Nurse Dow, how long do you want to be in this game? Is this a lifetime thing for you? Are you a lifer? Are you a 20-year, 10-year, 15-year, 30-year? What is your length? What is your lifespan in this field?
So that's kind of a tough question for me because, like, for right now, I've been away from bedside for About 2 years. So that was my first goal because I didn't want to work at the bedside anymore. Um, Now I'm thinking I probably have maybe 5 more years in me, and that's just because I'm trying to like establish my business and do more of a consulting than actually working for someone else. So I would say I got about 5 more years. I'm gonna always keep my license, of course. I'll always keep my license, but as far as working somewhere, 5 years.
Malik, how long could you see yourself doing this?
As of right now, my timetable is 5 years. I think I'm going to readjust it, whether I switch careers or do CRNA school. Um, I think kind of depends on where I'm at in my life. Like I said, I'm travel nursing right now. I decide to like settle down. That'll kind of play into a part. I want to travel and have a family. So right now, I have a 5 year plan as of right now. Um, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it right now.
All right. Nurse Brandon, same question to you, sir.
Um, I'm not a nursing lifer. But I will say I'll probably be in some form of a nursing role. Might not be bedside, but I definitely see myself um doing something in nursing for at least the next 5 to 10 years. Traveling is something I started 2 years ago, and I don't see it going anywhere. And I'm moving strictly off finances. Right now is lucrative for me, and I'm gonna continue to do it. Um, I could see myself. We kind of spoke off air about property, real estate, stocks, and other things that you can do to put yourself and your family in a better financial situation. And like Nurse Doll said, a business also. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole bunch
Mm-hmm.
of nurses that now have the capital to start their own businesses. They don't have to go into these banks and establishments and ask for a loan. They can actually start the business and have the bank come in after the business was already started. It gives you leverage when you go speaking to them. And I think right now, for me, I guess because I'm young, I'm 30. I feel like right now I'm in my capital building years. So just try to get some capital, and who knows, down the line I could open up my own business, my home health agency. Um, you know, who knows? I might even start my own travel staffing company. But like I said, right now you do have the resources or the financial ability to gain the resources to branch off and do what you want to do in your level of nursing. At one point in time, I thought I was going to get an advanced degree in nursing, but I don't think that'll be the case anymore.
Mm.
So that's just my take on it, and that's just because of my goals outside of nursing. And I realized that at some point in my life, the bedside won't be there for me, or I won't be there for the bedside. Let me just say that. So, um, I just feel like for the next 5 years, I'll probably dedicate myself to the bedside or some form of it,
Yeah.
and then I'll probably pivot and maneuver to something else.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty much on that same tip. But I'm still trying to go. I go back and forth with myself if I really do want to try to pursue that CRNA school. But man, Nurse to Riches, shout out to Nurse to Riches on YouTube. I've seen some of the stuff with, like I said, with those Cali nurses and everything like that, getting that $250,000 bag a year, just with a RN degree. So, but I think it makes it's a good point to jump to the next topic. Yeah, money. So for all the new nurses that are coming out of school, how would you, if you could give them like maybe like 3 steps on how to take that new nurse money and maybe what to do so they can make more money or how they can flip it or something like that? Can you just maybe do like maybe 3 steps, 3 points of advice for what you think they should do once they get out of school, they graduate, they start making that new nurse money? Nurse Dow, I'll start with you.
I knew you were gonna ask me first, and I'm still thinking. I'm like, let me think.
Uh-oh.
All
Because
right,
I
all
would,
right. I'll go first if you want me to. I'll go
yeah,
first.
go first, Nurse
I,
Brandon.
I think first you should do is get a plan. I see a lot of people getting money and running every which way. They don't have no plan. They don't even know what they're doing. They just throwing money everywhere. So I would say the first thing to do is to get a plan. Um, and I also think you should spend some money on personal development. You know, on how to do stocks or how to invest in real estate or how to be a better nurse or just personal development because you are your best asset at the end of the day. It's not the job. You know, you went to nursing school and you know a lot about nursing. But I think the first thing you should do is get a plan. Sit down and say, where do I want to be 5 years from now? Okay, financially. You know, do I want to have save 10? Do I want to max out my 401k? Do I just want to work and drive a luxury car? Do I want to just be able to pay my bills? Get a plan, because when you have it on paper, it's a lot more clear to see. You
Mm.
know, and a lot of people are moving today's without a plan. So I think the first thing you do, get a plan. You know, I think the second thing you should do is invest in personal development. I think it's very important, and I don't see a lot of nurses doing it.
What
You
do you
know,
mean by invest in personal development? Can you break that down?
yeah, like maybe buy a stock course on how to do stocks. Um,
Mm.
you know, or do some, or find a realtor, or even um a lot of people selling courses on how to get into real estate, you know, or how to buy a house with, you know, using FHA instead of doing conventional right away. There's some advantages to knowing how to move in the housing market that a lot of other people won't know. So that one day when you're older and when you're making more money, you could capitalize on it. So I think the first thing you should do is get a plan, invest in personal development so that you can be the best version of you can be.
Mm.
You
Okay.
know, it's easy to 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 say you're doing things, but if you don't have it written down, it's not gonna come to fruition, or not gonna be the way you want it to be. So the first thing, get the plan. Two, personal development, and three, work your plan.
Mm. Work your plan. Cool. That's what's up. That's what's up. Nurse Malik. Same thing, sir.
First, be intentional. I think, like Brandon was saying, like people are just out here moving all willy nilly and just with no focus and no plan. Learn how to budget. That's something that like a lot of us don't do. I when I did not have a career, I didn't budget. I just kind of like pay my bills early, live off the rest. And I think when you start getting a career, start seeing like some real money, you gotta learn how to manage it. Cause you can't manage 50,000. You can't manage 200,000.
Mm.
Like it's a mindset. And make sure your mindset's right. Cause like some people are happy there. Some people want to go up higher. You gotta know yourself, and you gotta have a plan. And don't forget about other things in your life as well. Because like you could be doing well financially, your health could be poor, your social life could be poor, and don't get too consumed by just one aspect of your life, and the other ones are burning in a house fire.
Mm.
I think that's the best thing I could tell like a new nurse, because like I said, people, you just getting out of nursing school, you're uber focused on this one thing. You got it. Now you gotta like spread that wealth out now, as far as your focus.
Mm. That's what's up. Hey, you got one more tip, or you good?
I'm done.
Okay, cool. Let me give a shout out to Locked Pop Talks. Locked Pop Talks just graduated LPN school. Let me just give a shout out to you, player. I'm
Yay.
very happy for you. I'm proud of you. And keep grinding, man. Just keep grinding. Um, Nurse Dial, back to you.
Yes, I want to add. I agree with everything everyone said. But I also want to add, get your credit together, because I was that one nurse. When I was an LPN, I remember first, like my first job, I used to literally we had a paper check. I used to take my check to the gas station, cash my check.
Oh
Hey,
no.
Brandon,
Mm.
cash my check and keep it in my purse. I would never
Net
go.
cash. Oh no. Go to the bank.
I would
Go to the
never.
bank.
Mind you, this is 20-year-old me, about 20-year-old me. I would never go to. I was just like, and then I
Paying
would up,
fees, paying fees, paying
and
fees.
I was working a whole lot, so I had a whole lot of overtime. And I remember this one time or whatever. Never really paid my bills on time, spending frivolously. I remember I went to go get a car. I wanted a new Camaro, and I had the money. I'm like, well, how much it cost? I got the money. I can pay that. My car note, they said it was gonna be $700. I'm like,
Woo.
so ever since I think about that, especially now,
High interest rate. Yeah.
yeah, like staying on top of your credit, and kind of like how he said, invest in like personal development, even if it is in nursing. Don't be that person on the floor. Like when something new happens, you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, master new things, because that'll kind of like push you further in nursing also too. You know,
Mhm.
that's what I think. I don't have another one. That's it.
Wow, I think that was those were pretty good. Those were pretty good. Now, I know, fellas, y'all answered this on the last panel, but I think it's important here, and I'm gonna ask Nurse Dow this as well. What are some of the negatives of being a nurse? Nurse Dow, I'm gonna start with you because the fellas answered this on another panel we were on, so I'm gonna give them a break, but then I'm gonna go back to them. But what do you think are some of the negatives of being a nurse?
Um, so far, I would say just pandemic wise, I would probably say the like death. That's always never fun. Um, I think people have this idea that that this is our life. Like, since we do spend a lot of time at work, some people just think like your whole being is nurse. Like when I clock out, I'm Xavier Love. Like I'm trying to see how I can explain it. It's just tough because I think people hold you to a certain standard, which I guess can be kind of okay. But at the end of the day, we're still regular people. So people expect us to be, I don't know, think I'm like Nightingale running around with a candle every like seriously, like I'm not walking around with a candle checking on everybody. How you doing? Are you? And it was so weird.
Mhm.
I have a little story. It's very short. Yesterday, I was literally at the salon, and somebody asked me to take their blood pressure. I said, "Well, I don't have a blood pressure cuff with me." What kind of nurse are you? I said, "What do you do for a living?" She was like, "Oh, I work at GM. You got a drill or something? I need you to do something, change my tires." Like, what do you mean? Like, why do I have to have
Mm.
my nursing bag everywhere I go? And how do you know I even work at the bedside? So
Mm.
you know.
Mm.
So I think that might be a con of nursing. And then just feeling like, I feel like I used to be like entitled to doing all this overtime. When somebody asked me to pick up work, I felt like I had to. This was years ago. Now I'm like, but just feeling like you're like you have to.
Let
That's
me
a
ask you. Let me ask y'all. I'm gonna get back to the fellas in a second, but I do want to ask: when y'all first became nurses, and y'all did receive like the pay increase and the pay bump, did y'all find yourselves doing a lot of things alone? Because now you've a lot of things that you can do now, maybe your peoples couldn't do or they can't do. Do you find yourself being a loner in most situations, or what do y'all think? If anybody want to take that.
All right, I'll go. I definitely think my friends changed.
Mm.
Because you want to go on trips and they probably can't afford it. You feel bad, but that's how life kind of goes. Kind of like high school. Some people go off to college, some people don't. Um, and it did change in a way because some people felt like you changed as a person, but as in life, we're supposed to change. You know, nobody's supposed to be the same person for 20, 30 years.
Facts.
So, when people say you change, sometimes you got to just say, yeah, you're right. I did change, but for the better, not for the worse.
Mm,
And some people, they try to hold you, try to tell you like you're not the good friend you used to be. I'm still the same friend. I just don't have the time to sit on the phone with you for 3 years for your problems no more. You know? Yeah, I gotta
mm,
go to work now. I gotta do overtime. I gotta spend time with my family. So things do change, but that's a part of life. And as those people get older, they'll realize it's more common than they thought.
mm. Nurse Malik.
Honestly, my my cost of living haven't really changed that much since college. The stuff I'm doing now, I was still doing in college. Only thing you might add, I go out the country, but that's still twice out the year, maybe. But like I've been doing the same stuff since I was easily 19, 20 years old. I just don't have like this extravagant life. Um, Still go bar hopping, which is like not like a high class thing. I
Well, I mean, it's what you do, you know.
only thing that I have had to focus on. I mean, I've always been a networking guy. I have a great network, but like when I'm in different cities, I try and get into certain rooms and be around certain people because to get to that next level, you have to do that. Other than that, that might be the only thing I do like alone. I mean, anywhere else, I mean, I'm doing the same stuff I've been doing since I was 19.
That that Nurse Dial, same question. Did you get that? Oh, she thinks she better. She got her little job now. She got her little nursing license. You know, y'all love to say little something.
it's
You got the
always
little something. Um, Did you experience that? Did you experience doing a lot of things by yourself when when your circumstances change?
I can say I don't think I did a lot of things by myself, but since I graduated, I was like 20 or 21. So a lot of my friends then, because I was an LPN first, so a lot of my friends then they were either probably still in college or they weren't in their career yet, so they kind of or just wasn't going. So
Hmm.
I can say I can't say I did things by myself, but I have a whole lot of nursing friends now. Like a lot of my friends are also nurses,
Mm.
especially since with the pandemic and traveling, I've met a whole lot of people across the United States. So I think kind of changed my friends a little bit because you do get tired of hearing that like oh she thinks she this. And it's like no, I don't think I'm anything. I'm just trying to have a career because I'm getting old, and that's what adults do.
Mm.
So
Well, yeah. Yeah, me and my lady, we travel alone for the most part. I mean, for the most part. But like I said, the same thing that I was doing 5 years ago, you should change, just like Brandon said. I want to talk to y'all about the importance. I ain't gonna hold y'all all day, but I want to talk to you about the importance of protecting your license. There's a lot of things that I don't do anymore. I don't be in the streets. I don't go to certain places. I don't even hang out with certain people anymore. Um, and because I know it could lead to some trouble. And I know in this day and age, if you get in any trouble, especially with having a nursing license, like it's a wrap. What do y'all how do y'all feel about the importance of protecting your license? Do you feel like some people don't think it's that important, or what do you speak on that for me? Whoever want to take it first.
Very. I've kind of always. I never had that problem. I always kind of been like low key bougie. I always thought I was like better
Okay.
than a lot of like situations. Even like old friends. I'm just like, yeah, you don't take care of your kids. You're not really doing nothing inside the world. You're not really contributing. Let's not hang out with this guy anymore.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I always had that mindset. Like even like I said, I was broke acting like this. I mean, like if I'm broke and you broke, what help you gonna do?
Mm.
So I just always had that mentality. So like I don't go to like house parties. Like remember in college they used to get shot up and stuff. I've been in those house parties. I'm like never going back.
Mm.
Um, certain clubs, if clubs get shot up, I won't be there. Like I understand. Like I value my life. I've been broke way longer than I had any money. I'm trying to enjoy it pretty much.
Mm.
So I don't even go to certain I don't be in certain rooms that I don't think I should be in, honestly.
Wow. All right. I ain't mad at that. Brandon, how about you?
I mean, I think protecting our license is probably one of the most important things we can do. To be honest, if any of us send a resume right now and said our license was delinquent, we ain't getting no calls back. That goes for everybody
Mm.
on this phone right now. So, I'm gonna say it's always gonna be the best to protect yourself. As far as your license, and I'm gonna just say this: we call them cowboys in the ICU. People who do stuff that ain't supposed to be doing. They just wild. They in the wild west doing stuff that's like, yo, you can lose your license doing that. You know that, right? And they just comfortable doing it. You keep on going, because you ain't gonna stop till you see somebody lose their license. And I just think you work so hard to get it. Um, Protect it, and a lot of things that come hard are worth it. So protect it. So I think your goal should be to protect your license at the end of the day. If you work somewhere and you don't feel like you safe there, leave. The money is not worth you risking your license. So
Mm.
I'm just saying, if it comes to your ethics or your license, go with your ethics and say this ain't for me and leave.
Mm. Got you. Bet. Nurse Doll, same question to you.
yes, very important because that's like like Brandon said, you could just sit up there with a DNP, but if your license is revoked, you can't even teach. Like at that point, you can't. You just can't. And also to piggyback on what he said about working in unsafe environments. I can remember a time where, like you said, the Cowboys in the ICU. I just recently tried to take a bedside assignment. I told you I'm not that clinical. I tried to take a bedside assignment at this LTAC, and when I tell you it was so bad that I reported them to the state, and I've never done that before.
Mm.
The condition of the patients is so bad. They had like LPNs like pushing Dilaudid and morphine, and then they would bring it back to the RN to sign it off.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was just that. That was the it was
Oh,
long. When I was reporting them, the person on the phone was like, "Ma'am, how many more do you have?" Like it was, there was no tube feed on the floor at all on the in the hospital. Excuse me, in the hospital there was no tube feed, and people were on continuous tube feeds. And their intervention was to slow the tube feed down. So if it was 50 cc's an hour, we gonna just slow it down to 20, so we're gonna let it last a little bit. Um, so I'm just looking, and I'm in awe because these people are really. I'm supposed to be on orientation with this person, and he's really like telling me that he's doing all of these things like it's okay. So like, I we shouldn't get that comfortable. I don't see how a clinical person could, but we shouldn't get that comfortable when we're being cowboys in the ICU or cowboys wherever on the floor. Because it's just unsafe
Mm.
for the patients. The whole floor had, I'm getting mad now. The whole floor had thrush because people weren't washing out their mouths. These are people on ventilators. The whole floor had thrush because respiratory wasn't washing their mouth out. So my thing for the DON and anybody in clinical leadership there, wouldn't you see that as a problem that we need to fix? It's widespread on the whole floor. So nobody's doing anything about that except just ordering nystatin. No
wow.
education plan, no any, so it was just the lack there. So everybody on the floor there, they should be worried about their license, but obviously they weren't because they paying good over there. So that's why I would tell a new nurse: don't get so caught up in pay where you work in a unsafe environment, unsafe for the patients and unsafe for your license.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yo, we just got a new nurse who just popped up on the live. Shout out to Nurse Shay Shay who just made her appearance. I'll be watching her YouTube a lot. She is an LPN. She be giving out game, making a lot of money. Nurse Shay Shay, can you just tell the people about yourself real quick if they ain't familiar with you already?
Yeah, I'm Nurse Shay. Been an LPN, be 2 years in February. You can guys can check out my channel, Nurse Shay, and it'll tell you all about me and how to make money or how I make money, really.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's just me.
So, Nurse Shay Shay, I don't know how much of the conversation you've heard, but I guess where do you want to chime in at? Because I don't know what you've heard and what you haven't heard.
Uh, Honestly, it was something about like I guess MPs and CRNAs.
Okay, all right. So we were talking about the advanced degrees, right? So
Uh-huh.
I'll just ask you: do you feel like it's a waste of money? The post was pretty much talking about anything above an ADN is a waste of money, and it's a ploy for the schools to make more money. So what do you think about that situation? Do you think it's necessary? What do you think?
Mm, I mean, if your end goal is to make money, to get out the game like I am, then I think anything greater than a ASN really is a joke. Right now, if you see what group is it, the 5,000 Up group on Facebook, I've read a lot of posts where nurse practitioners were leaving that profession to continue on as a travel RN because they were just simply making more money. I mean, so that's how they see it. I don't see that it's really a good profession to really get into. I think the CRNA is really good. That's where you can make a lot of money. You can have a lot of status, but they gatekeep those professions. I can
Mm,
name two nurses right now: the bougie nurse on TikTok, and the urban nurse. If you have not seen those videos, last two that he posted,
yeah.
right now it's hard for a lot of them, from what I've read, to get into the ICU and to gain that type of experience because they, again, non-black nurses get those type of jobs. So, I mean, honestly, if you're in it for the money or whatever that your purpose is, honestly, you shouldn't get greater than an ASN. If you want to advance, you want to get away from the bedside and you still want to help the people, yeah, of course, go ahead and do it. But I mean, it's just more debt. That's how I see it. Just more debt.
Mm. Brandon, I know you are an ICU nurse. Have you ever had any issues getting into the ICU?
To be honest, any nursing job is your hardest nursing job. Usually your first one, and then usually once you get in, if you know how to communicate and network and a hard worker, I think you can kind of get your way in any position you want to. It kind of
Mm-hmm.
depends on how you move and um I guess your reputation at the workplace that you work at. Was it hard for me getting the ICU? No, but I had 2 years of tele experience before I went to the ICU. And
Mm-hmm.
I did a residency program, and I agreed to stay for 2 years, which I did. I did the whole 2 years. So it really depends. I think right now, a lot of hospitals rather just have a travel nurse show up than to train somebody,
Really?
because I'm serious. Like they'd rather just get somebody trained
Wow.
that know what they're doing. Because it takes, to be honest, it takes somebody about 6 months to be developed as an ICU nurse, like to feel comfortable in their skills. And anybody who say they show up in 1 or 2 months and they know what they're doing, that's not true. Um,
Mm.
and to be honest, before you can actually feel like you making a difference in the unit, I'm going to say it's probably going to take you a good year. So
Wow.
as a manager, if you're bringing in somebody new to ICU, you have to commit a year to that person.
Mhm.
Um, and then you have to say, dang, can this person really commit 2 to 3 years to me after I commit a year to them? And in this market, the answer is going to be most likely not. So
Wow.
you really have to pour a lot of resources into to ICU nurse to make one. And right now it's not profitable to do it. I don't think a lot of institutions are doing residency programs left and right. They probably having them, and if they are having them, they hiring a whole bunch at one time. So hopefully a couple of them could stay.
Mm. Malik, are you an ICU nurse?
No, I'm telemetry, but like I went to a black college. I
Okay.
never heard any of the issues from like I got a bunch of friends who work ICU. I never seen any like color barrier. It may be I haven't heard about it.
Okay.
I,
Right.
I do know ICU. If you're not up to a certain standard, they will
Yeah.
give your ass the boot.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do
Mm.
know
I,
that.
I don't think a color is a barrier. I think it's the way you communicate, and I think it's the cycle of nursing we in right now. Right now, it's the money grab. I don't have time to develop. I need nurses right now. If you in the ICU
Mm.
and you need 20 nurses to show up every day to run it, and you only have 15, you don't have time to take 5 of those and develop 5 new nurses, because when you orientated somebody, you paying 2 nurses to do one nursing job, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's really hard and difficult to commit to a nurse, knowing that once you teach them everything they need to know, they're gonna leave.
Oh, I
Mm.
think that's why we got this nursing shortage here, that's going on. I mean, there's a lot of people that get first preference over everything. So, it's a messed up situation, but I'm not going to deny those other people their experiences. I've seen a lot of them. They said that, they can't get into it, or L&D. That's been an issue too as well.
Are,
But
are these nurses willing to move though? Because a lot of people, they say I can't get a job here, but then you go to the next city or an hour away and they just giving out ICU jobs.
right.
So
Mm.
if you want to sit, I put it like this, man. If you really want it, you're gonna go out and get it. Um, and I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I know nurses who move 2 or 3 hours away to get their ICU experience straight out of college,
Hmm.
and some of them are
Wow.
CRNAs. So you have to be committed. And I can tell you right now, if any nurse is willing to move right now, they could get an ICU job.
I
Wow.
think it's hard to even like not get a job and
Yeah,
a nursing. Like
yeah.
it's been traditionally a shortage across the board.
Always.
So I mean, it's I couldn't fathom not being able to get a job in nursing in any field during the shortage. That's just I mean,
Check out that video, the urban nurse. I think was it. I know you've seen it, CJ, because I know you talked about it on your channel. I think it was the first or second one where he's a travel nurse,
Yep.
correct?
Hmm.
And
Yep.
he said that he
No,
sat
no.
home 4 months
I
and he
was,
went
I
on
was,
all these
I
interviews
was
and could not get
right,
a job.
but
that
right.
kind of goes
So
to what Brandon said.
yeah, so I saw the video.
Hmm.
And I don't know him personally, but you know, think about it. When I got out of undergrad, I knew a nurse that graduated with me who stayed home for a whole year because she couldn't find a job in the city that I live in.
Hmm.
Mind you,
That's ridiculous right there. Now,
right? She sat out a whole year, said nobody will hire me. Instead of saying I have a degree, I could go 2 hours up the road and they giving away jobs.
Right.
So in life, everything not gonna be handed to you. Not everything
Mm.
gonna be. You know what? I was born here. I was raised here. I gotta live here for the rest of my life and die. That's
Mhm.
not how life works. So as an adult, because if you finish your nursing degree, you're an adult at that point. No.
Hey,
Well, yeah.
Nurse Dow, I want to ask you because you are a nurse in the Michigan area, and I'm quite interested in getting into the ICU. Have you heard or have you ever personally had any issues with getting into the ICU or in the Michigan area? Is there trouble for brand new nurses out of college getting an ICU job?
What I can say, kind of like what Brandon was saying, like I live in like the Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor area, like,
Mhm.
about 35, 45 minutes outside Detroit. Now, if I
Right.
were to say University of Michigan Hospital, it's a very low chance, just because where we at geographically, a low chance
Mhm.
of them, probably giving me a chance to go in the ICU fresh out of school. However, if you go to DMC in Detroit, they definitely will train you, and you can get a job. So I mean, if I were to just stick around here and just kind of just try to get into every house around here and just wait and hope they accept me, I probably wouldn't. But if you go to Detroit,
Mm.
they will. Most definitely.
So So what y'all pretty much saying is that you have to be willing to take the job or to find it. You have to be willing to go out and find those particular job if that's the one that you want.
Yeah, like
Um,
break the glass ceiling. You can't just like wait for them to. Nobody's gonna call you up and say, "Hey, you have to go get it for yourself." By any means necessary. And like you said, if you have to move, if that's what you truly want to do, you truly want to be a CRNA, this is your goal, and you have to get in the ICU, you should do whatever you need to do to make sure you reach that goal.
Nurse Shay Shay, is that your goal to get into the ICU?
No, my goal is to always make money. Always.
Okay, okay,
I like you. I like
okay.
you, Shay Shay.
Hmm.
Got you, got you. All right. Well, let me ask: Have y'all ever experienced any racism in nursing? Since I do have a panel of black nurses, I get asked all the time in my DMs, like, do you have any issues as a black male nurse? Has anybody ever gave you any smoke as a black male nurse, especially with traveling? Now, I haven't traveled out of state yet, but I do know there are rural areas, and I do see conversations in certain groups where they talk about sundown towns and places where nurses should and should not go on a traveling aspect. So have any of you nurses here ever experienced any racism on
Yeah,
the job?
for sure.
Okay, you said for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a video on that when I used to did the L Tech. You said you did L Tech too. What's your name, nurse?
Dow.
Oh, yeah, that was an all black unit. And then we had like an overflow ICU unit on that too. And honestly, there was, let me see, one white nurse, one white CNA, and one CNA for that entire unit. Because that's how messed up the LTAC is. You know how it is down there. Barely any equipment, anything.
Okay.
And out of all these black RNs, LPNs, even we had a doctor of nurse practice. The only people that's giving us the smoke was the white people, honestly. The only ones that may
Mm.
not even continue my contract because of how bad these two people were. And there was one girl that was even stalking me. I had a whole video on this, you know. And then there's another issue where even if I was doing bedside, I'm not doing bedside anymore. They always think that you're the CNA.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
They always think you're the CNA when you come over here. Housekeeping, whatever. No, I'm the
Yeah,
nurse.
I got that too once.
So
I went to go pick up my
it's
check. They was like, "Are you the janitor?"
it's comical.
And
Boy, like, but yeah, I've had some issues there, you know. But when you black, you got to save face. You got to be calm because the Negroes acting a fool over here. But yeah, I have.
Okay, I got to get the guys' input, and then we're gonna get on to the new guest that just popped up. We're gonna get to you in a second, Miss Roxy. I appreciate you being here, fellas. Racism on the job. Have y'all experienced it?
For one, even if I did, it's not stopping me from getting no bag.
Yeah,
I'm not quitting no contract, no assignment
I'm
because
not
of
quitting the
nothing.
job. You know what I mean?
You,
I,
I'm just not.
I quit that job
Only
because
thing that I remember happening was when I was in orientation, which I thought was comical, was like this old demented, like I can't remember what exactly she had, but she was not with it. Old lady didn't know what was going on, not alert at all. She called me a nigga, like, but I think we were trying to like turn her or something, or like clean her, just something like that. And like other than that, like ain't nobody, nothing like I'm gonna go home and cry about, or nothing that's gonna stop me from getting no bag. This is not anything that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
What was you about to say, Nurse Shay Shay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the reason why I quit that contract, yeah, the racism and everything like that. But if any of you guys have done LTAC, we didn't have any equipment or anything like that, and you have one CNA to all these other nurses, so it was already bad to begin with. I could deal with a little racism. Yeah, I could tell somebody overhead, but they didn't care because they didn't have any people. They was gonna keep that person there because of that, you know. So
Right.
yeah, sometimes the money ain't worth it. I'm all about a bag too, but I'm not gonna let nobody talk to me anyway or anything like that for some money, you know.
Right.
So yeah, there's money everywhere.
Right.
Brandon, what was you about to say, Brandon?
No, I mean my personal appearance, my personal experience has been different. It's not. I think I'm not gonna say racism. I think a lot of ICU nurses like to see how good you are. You know, you always get that crashing patient. You always get that cold blue. You know, but do I think that's racism? No, that's just part of the job. They just figure if you getting paid more, you're gonna do more work, and I'm willing to do that work to get that money. So I don't think I've ever experienced it. I've been called. Well, one time I was called like a color boy one time. But that was like an old patient that was demented. And like he saw me walking past the hallway. He was like, hey, can you come? And I walked by. He's just like, color boy, can you come? But I
Color
didn't
boy.
really take that. I didn't get offended. Like I was just like, I just kept walking, man.
Right.
Don't things like that don't get to me. It really don't bother me. It's just part of what happens. Anybody who's been a nurse for more than 5-10 years will have something come up. But I will say I did feel some tension towards like when I go to California, I do maybe some Filipinos, you know, there's a lot of Filipinos out there. And any nurse of color that's young, you go out there, they gonna make you work for that money, you know. But that's okay because I'm from the South and I'm used to working for my money. So it don't I don't feel no type of way. I don't get offended by it. And to be thankful, a lot of them when I leave, they say, man, you different than a lot of other travel nurses we had come here. A lot of people come here thinking they're gonna make up money and not do no work. And when you go there and do what you need to do, they respect you. They know who you are and they don't treat you like that. So sometimes it's about taking what comes to you because you can't change how somebody perceives you or people of your ethnicity. Like you can't change that. That's their perceived notion. But what you can do is put your forward and whatever they give you to do, you just do it. You know? And eventually after a while they realize you different or you know your skill set is what's needed for the job and they just go about their day. So I've never really felt no need to even think about quitting the job because I'm not quitting mine.
Yeah, I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't quit either. But I just think it's always a need for us to overperform. Like for me, like in nursing, it was like always had to be the best. I always learned something. If something new was on the floor, I'm gonna go get that certification. Let me go, learn stuff. Because even like in meetings, I know I've definitely been undermined quite a couple times in meetings. Like somebody cutting you off in the meeting, like you shouldn't be here. Essentially, trying to make you feel uncomfortable and stuff.
That's why I don't go to staff meetings. I'm not staff. I don't go to the meetings.
Oh well, I mean, I'm talking about like meetings. Like actually, even when I traveled, I still had to go to meetings. I wasn't on the floor, but we still had to have like meetings about like the agency and stuff.
My pay rate too high. They're not gonna pay me to go sit in no meeting. Trust me.
Talk that talk. Talk that talk.
But if any job I ever had was willing to pay me to go to a staff meeting, I would show up early and leave late. Trust me.
I definitely was going to the meetings, and they were definitely trying to undermine me in the meetings. But that was my job. My job was to go to the meetings. I had to. That was part of my role to go to the meetings. I could not go to the meeting. But I just feel like it's a need. I always had to be the best. Like I always had to make sure all my T's were crossed, my I's were dotted, and because if not, they was gonna come for me, and it was always a chance for them to come for me.
Listen.
So let me ask you a question. So
hold on. Wait. Hold on. I gotta get Miss Roxy on. Miss Roxy, what's cracking?
Hi, how are you? I wanted to join this discussion because it was a very interesting topic. I'm a nurse educator, but I don't just do like regular, I guess if you say typical nursing education. I work in clinical documentation improvement. So it's more so like an area like revenue cycle and like more in the business end. But I thought this was a very good discussion just because I know for me as a Black nurse, it was very hard for me to get into this area of nursing. It's typically an area that white women are in there. And on top of that, they typically like to, like a lot of the job descriptions, for example, like, well, the job requirements, they will say things like, have to like, just like some of the comments that was already mentioned here, they'll want experience from the ICU and all this prior experience, from places typically that Black nurses are not, they're not there. And I think that they do that kind of stuff on purpose to kind of filter you out. And on top of it, clinical documentation improvement is like an area of healthcare that, like nurses, it came out of nursing. So it's really about like kind of like looking at the doctor's records. I don't know if anybody in here is familiar with clinical documentation improvement, but it's like an area where you're like looking over the doctor's documentation. You work with the coders, you know what I mean? And so even that, it's like the type of area where just working in that environment, you would know certifications that you want to pursue. You would be really focused. Even if you went back to school to get an advanced degree, you would be really clear on why you want to get that advanced degree. But I'm always an advocate for nurses to advance and gain that education or that information, that certification, whatever it is they think that they need to get better. But I do know that, for me at least, what I have observed is that white women don't have to go through that. White men or women, they don't have to go through that. Somebody could just pull them aside, give them a few tidbits, get them the game, and they can make mistakes. They can not know what they're talking about. They can misspell words, and the report they got to be right. They can not know what they're talking about. Me, I had to. I know how to code in SQL. You know what I mean? I had to go ahead and get double certifications. I had to go do it's almost like you feel like you're the most educated person in the room, but almost like the dumbest person in the room, because it's like everybody else is just there learning as they go, training on the job. You got to come in here sharp.
Let me ask you a question, because I don't. The fellas, from what I'm gathering, the fellas don't have the same experience maybe the ladies have had. Do you think it's a sexist thing? Maybe is it because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't had any issues at all. I mean, I'm still new in the field, but I haven't had any issues, those kind of problems, whether it be racism or anything like that. I've never experienced that, so I can't really give an honest. Well, I'm giving my honest answer, but I can't say that, oh, racism affected me here or there. Not saying that couldn't happen, but I've never experienced that. And the fellas, it seems like they haven't really experienced that either. Do you think it's like a man thing or a woman thing? What do y'all think?
I'll have some input. I think me and Brandon kind of similar. A lot of things that like you claim as racism, I kind of view it as like a challenge, or like kind of like putting my work in. Like I don't mind. Like from when I was little, like I grew up in the projects. Like from an early age, my uncles told me, like, yo, work twice as hard. So I already had that in the back of my head. Like I'm going to work twice as hard as anybody else on that floor. I'm going to prove to everybody that I'm better than majority of the nurses on the floor. Like I walk into situations with that mindset already. I already think I'm better than majority of nurses on the floor as soon as I walk in. So when I see challenges, that's all I see it as, a challenge. I don't see it as racism. You get what I'm saying? Like my situation where I got called the nigga just for cleaning a patient, I think that's racism. I don't see somebody giving me shit as racism. Do you get what I'm saying? Or does that sound crazy?
No. I definitely get what you're saying. Like, I feel like, can I say when I go to California, Filipinos give me a hard time? Is that racism? I mean, if you want to call it that, I call it them just seeing if I'm confident enough to do my job. And the ICU I'm from, I'm used to getting heavy loads of patients, so I'm used to it. But I'm gonna just be honest with you. To be honest, I feel like I get treated better from other races than my own race sometimes when I go to travel for assignments. It's strictly how you communicate with people. Some people, They have this mindset like it's all about them. As long as they take care of their patients, they ain't gotta help nobody else. That's what nursing not. That's not what nursing about. So if you go there with that mindset, like I'm here to get my bag today, be expected to get the worst end of the stick because you're not a team player. So when I go to nursing travel assignments, I help everybody, and I make it known I'm here to help everybody because when I was back home, that's what we did anyway. And yeah, I'm making more money than you, but I'm still gonna help you.
ICU has that culture too.
Yeah, and ICU has very strong dominant cultures. It's like if you're not willing to help, they're gonna make you suffer till you start helping.
Exactly.
I think it's
like
settings too, though. Like
huh?
Nurse Roxy, I want to make sure I'm saying your name correctly. Nurse Roxy, I kind of think different settings have a lot to do with it. Because like you said, I don't go to these meetings. Okay, my job on my assignment was to go to the meetings.
No, I'm saying if they paid me to go to the meetings, best believe I would have been the first one there.
I tell you, but my thing is, I have to collaborate with these people in order to get my job done, and they're basically looking at me like, "What are you even doing here?" So before I even open my mouth, even though I'm here because I perform well, before I open my mouth, they're looking at you like, "Oh, like how are we having a meeting, a clinical leadership meeting, and the only person that's in clinical leadership who's here, you're skipping over her."
Woo. Nurse Shay Shay.
So like how? Like purposely though.
But is that racism though? That's the thing that I'm not.
Wait, hold on. I gotta get Nurse Shay Shay thoughts though, cause her and I, we both LPNs.
Remember at this point.
Hold on. Let me get Nurse Shay Shay. Nurse Shay Shay, your experience. Have you had any particular experience where, maybe somebody of a different culture, different ethnicity has had favor over you?
I mean, if we talk about like Filipinos, I think they do that because, you stick with your race. Honestly, their type of culture, their families make them go into that field because of different opportunities and whatnot. Like right now, I'm sure they're sitting different nurses from different countries right now to get them at a cheaper rate. So honestly, I haven't experienced anything from Filipinos, but I have experienced from a lot of white nurses on my travel assignments. Like I said, I had a stalker. This girl would watch me every second of the day. She would talk about me to other people all the time, and it was just bad. It was just a real bad issue. Maybe because I was young, she was a little bit older, but yeah, it was honestly just white people. She would just try to get me in trouble every second of the day. But luckily, like I said, I work with nothing but Black women. The doctor was a Black woman. She's telling whatever the issue that she had me to this Black woman. On my video that I said it about that. And she was like, she's watching you every second of the day and stuff like that. And she's like, I don't like what she's doing, but I want you to watch your back. Black woman to Black woman, watch your back around this woman here. Because I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't want nothing to happen to your license and stuff like that. But she didn't punish me for whatever that I was doing. She was saying, this is what we can do better as a Black woman, because she's looking anyway to get your license revoked, And so, it was just white people.
But I don't think that's racism. I just think she didn't like you. Like, I don't think
I think she just didn't like you.
I just don't think she didn't like you. Like, and no matter what sometimes no matter who you meet, somebody just not gonna like you. And that's okay. You got to learn how to deal with those type of people. But I don't think that's a form of racism. I just think she just personally didn't like you. Whether it was, and it could be nothing you did. Maybe somebody who beat her up in childhood that looked like you. You know what I mean? Like, it could be so many other things that you can't control. But I don't think that's a form of racism. I think she just didn't like you for whatever reason. And sometimes you can't control that. You can do is when you're around that person, be professional and just let them do what they do.
There's a lot of say on the platform that was said about me. I'll just keep that a little confidential. But there's several instances that she's called me out my name or
All right. After the live stream, I'll stay on it. We can talk about it. We after the live stream, if you want, I'll stay behind off camera. We can talk about it if you want to.
Okay,
no,
but like I said, I'm not going to deny, and this has all happened to me before. Their preference, like a white nurse, a preference of whatever.
Yeah, preference is normal. In any job, somebody always gonna have more preference. That's normal in the job setting. That's normal. That's normal.
Let me ask.
Everybody has their favorites.
let me ask this, Nurse Shay. And I'm not negating your experience at all. But do you think what did she do? Did she have a history? This nurse that you were talking about, did she have a history of doing this to other black nurses?
Yes. So Marisa was our charge RN. Jeree, the person that I last had on my video. I mean,
Uh-huh.
if she was here right now, she could tell you about the whole experience that we had. We've all left that job because of this one person.
Mm.
One person. So, like I said, it is what it is. It's okay. From what I know, she's still there. That lets me know that they'll keep these people here because it's a shortage. They don't care. They don't care as long as you ain't killing a patient or anything like that. That's fine. But my license comes first. So I'm not about to stay at no contract or anything like that. Deal with that. Be called derogatory terms or whatever for that. I'm just not. So to this day, I'm a traveling nurse. I mean, I deal with all the crap, but I'm paid. Hey, who cares? I'm paid.
Roxy, Roxy, I want to ask you. So so were you in similar situations as Nurse Shay and Nurse Dow, where people tried to undermine your skills and undermine the information and the knowledge that you may have, just simply because?
So, mhm.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say yes, but I do also I think as nurses we cannot ignore the fact that nursing for the most part is white female dominated. I know just even when I was in nursing school and also as a nurse educator, we always had few and far between as far as the male nurses. So sometimes even just being a male nurse, there's certain privileges that come with that. You may even be expected or looked upon to kind of be like that kind of like protector on the unit. You know what I mean? Maybe you're the person that you're going to be relied upon to deal with any kind of like heavy like issues going on. It could be anything from a patient or just things that like the women just feel like I don't want to deal with, and it's good just to have that diversity, the male, that male nurse present. I noticed that especially when I was in nursing school, there was only probably in the when I first became a nurse. Let me put it that way. Um, the program that I was in was it was a small nursing program. There was probably about 30, maybe 30, 35 students. And of that 35, I think was like 3 or 4 male students. So with that, I noticed that even when we did our clinicals, it's like they could almost do no wrong because of the fact that they wanted, they wanted those black men, not those black men, sorry. They wanted the male students to succeed and get through the program. So to me, I feel like there's different privileges being a male student nurse. On a different note, regarding the racism, I have dealt with it so much to the point where I was initially traumatized by it. I remember thinking to myself, I think that this was like going to nursing was probably like the worst decision I ever made. Because when you're going through nursing school, you trust that nurse educators and leaders in your learning experience, they're supporting you. But if they are putting you down, that is going to affect your whole perception of nursing. And so I dealt with it in nursing school. Nursing was a second degree for me. So when I was in nursing school, I was a high achieving student. But again, it was maybe about 5 Black students in the class. And we all happened to be female. So a lot of times we kind of had to do a lot of code switching and a lot of, kind of, you just don't want to be too smart. So, that sometimes became an issue. And I remember one time them sending a chaplain in the class for me to say, because they said I had anger management issues. I mean, you don't know me, but anybody I tell that to, they always laugh. They're like, "You, Raquel?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, yep, anger management issues. A chaplain came in, pulled me out because there were 3 white girls that was in the desk before me, saying that myself and the 2 Black girls that I was sitting next to, we were popping they said that we were smacking our lips and slamming our books behind them. Sounds probably plausible, but we weren't doing any of that. We weren't doing that. It wasn't the instructors didn't have a let's pull aside, let's have a round table discussion to see if that really happened. Nope. It was um like they just ran to those three young ladies defense, and they just left me and the other two black girls to kind of look like we were like troublemakers. It was like real that, so it shaped my perception of nursing. I think nursing is probably one of the most racist uh professions, and I think people can really show their racism in that space because patients trust nurses. So you can let your racism just flow. And then you got situations like I'm here in Philadelphia. Um, as far as like the frontline staff, like your CNAs for the most part, a lot of them are black. So sometimes you may have white nurses that just want to deal with the CNAs in a certain way just because they're mostly black. It's like I don't know. I hate to talk in such general terms, but I just don't want to be long winded. And I said enough. So I would like to hear from someone else.
Can I ask a question? So, not to diminish any of you guys' situation or experiences, but I think I had the most blatant experience of racism where like my junk was solely based on me cleaning a patient and she called me a nigga just because I was there cleaning her. Like there's no other X factors into that situation. But one thing that I do see is that a lot of the things that you guys see as racism, me and Brandon see as just like regular challenges in the world that we kind of already I think we're kind of accustomed to it. So like we just see it as challenges. So I guess we have a more positive outlook on the same situations as you guys experience. So do you think
you think that's because of male privilege?
I'm sorry?
You think that's because of male nurse privilege? I've heard that before. I've heard that several times that we go through certain things and we don't go through certain things because we are male. You think that have anything to do with us being men in the profession?
No, I think men, we're just designed not to like complain about anything. I'm not saying you guys are complaining, but just
CJ, I'm gonna say it's a double-edged sword. CJ, I'm gonna say it's a double-edged sword. No. I'm gonna say it's a double-edged sword because women have certain advantages men don't have.
Yeah,
I've had female patients tell me they don't want to have a male nurse. They straight up just say, "It's not that you black. I just don't want a male. I don't want a male putting a Foley in me. I don't want a male taking me to the bathroom. I'm gonna get exposed." I had a male patient tell me I like the way the females. A female just because I want a female as my nurse. Like it ain't nothing against you. You do a good job. You do a great job. But she just look better than you. Like straight up, she looks better than you. So, those things that we have to deal with. And I don't take it personal. If I was a male nurse in the bed, I probably want a female nurse too. So I'm just saying that we have our differences. I've been on a nurse, CJ, where I got report for a patient. Somebody's got a report for a patient. And her patient just weighed 400 pounds, and mine was 125. They said, "Oh, can you switch?" Okay. Just because of the patient weight. Let's be real. When I work in the ICU, if I get a patient coming in 400 pounds, that's going to be my patient. I don't even got to look at the assignment. I just say, that's going to be my patient.
Or you know what else is I see a lot? Say we have like a difficult like a Respucia. Like somebody difficult, I'm getting that patient. I already know.
Yeah. I don't want to deal with it.
But see, it's like we don't say that's racism. We just say
I don't take it personal. I don't say the female.
Yeah, exactly.
The male nurses. No, we just.
Well, I don't think that's racism. I think as it pertains to race, like y'all just kind of brought up somebody.
No, I'm not. No, I'm saying it's a double-edged sword. There's certain advantages women have, right?
Yeah,
there's certain things that men, right? So if it's a big patient, it's gonna go to the men. If it's a patient with a lot of cold reds got a call where like the patient want to fight, agitated, being disruptive, most likely if there's a male nurse, they're gonna try to give it to him, right? And like I remember the lady at the bottom, I don't know her name, the one that just joined, she said that men are kind of seen as kind of protective sometimes. So I understand that, and that's part of our job as nurses, that we just have to accept it. That
exactly
if a patient get out of hand and it's not even my patient, I gotta go address it. And I can't say, oh, I'm the male nurse. I just do it because that's gonna be whether it's my patient or not, I was gonna have to go help deal with that anyway until security got there. So,
but do you see that that's leverage though? That's leverage that you have that Black female nurses don't have that leverage.
But does that go on my paycheck?
I think you're just comfortable to do anything. Like, right.
It's like I'm here to do a job, and I'm gonna be here for 12 hours. I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna help everybody I can, and usually everybody that can help me helps me back. So I've seen some nurses who come in there with that mindset of like, I'm here to get this bag, and I'm gonna buy this when I get off of work, and I'm here just to be here for 12 hours, and I'm just gonna focus on my patients. And those type of nurses usually get the short end of the stick in the long run. In the long run, that day they might get away with it.
I'm gonna be honest. I've had a lot of panels, and not about nursing, that were not as exciting as this. This is probably the best conversation. This is probably the best show, because who would have thought you could evoke so much emotion from nursing? You know, not emotion, but so much. I think it's exciting to hear everybody's different points of view, because when the fellas say different things, I see the ladies' faces, and you know, when the ladies say different things, I see the fellas' face. I just think it's a good conversation, because I've never heard anything like this in nursing. Like, I've never heard these kind of conversations had. So I think that's dope. Ladies.
But I do agree with the last comment when she said is I am comfortable, because I did 5 years before I did travel nursing. That's something I know my profession in and out. And I feel like at the 5-year mark, I feel like I'm not gonna say I mastered it, because you can't master nursing, but I felt like I achieved a high level of nursing to where I could just go into any unit and be an asset to any team. So if you only been a nurse for a year and you go travel, you're not seasoned enough. Like, point blank, I don't think nobody can. You do the job? Yes. But are you as seasoned as somebody who got 5 years in the game, who knows about interpersonal relationships as far as coworkers, who know how to deal with certain type of people, because we've been already exposed to them. Like, we already know those type of people who don't get along with certain people. I know how to deal with them.
So Brandon, do you feel like racism exists at all in nursing?
Doesn't sound like it.
Listen, I'm gonna just say this, man. Listen, unless somebody blatantly say I don't like you because you Black, I don't see it that way, because I have nurses that didn't like me at first.
I gotta tell you.
And trust me, I worked my way into them people liking me. I worked my way into them people liking me. When they say, "Can somebody help me?" Nobody gonna come and help me. I'll be the first one there. I'm here to help you. And guess what? Maybe not that day, maybe not the day after, but maybe a week later, they say, "You know what? He ain't bad after all. He the only one that come and help me." So
it's business. It's more business for you. If it was racism, you wouldn't care.
Listen, I'm not gonna do racism exist. Do racism exist? It does. Has anybody Black came out to me and said blatantly said I don't like you because you Black? No. Has anybody ever showed me they didn't like me because I was Black? Maybe so, but I don't see it that way. I say, you know what? I bet you I get you to like me before the end of this contract. And it's like talking to a girl. She might see the first time, she might walk past you like you ain't nobody. But then guess what? You talk to her, she gets to know who you really are, and things might change. You can't just go by, they don't like me, that's the end of everything, because that's not how life meant to be.
Ladies, okay, I gotta get y'all response.
Can I ask a question though? But can I ask him a question?
Go ahead.
So have you ever been in an experience where, granted, I understand you're saying you're not focused on racism, you're focused on getting your bag, and I'm with that.
I'm not focused on the bag. I'm focused on helping as many coworkers as possible.
Well, okay, you're focused on being a team player and being professional. Okay, I understand. I think all of us feel that way. But my question is have you ever ran into a situation where you're dealing with a manager, right? Because that's usually where the heat usually come from. They come from a manager who is pretty much making your experience at work hellish because of their prejudice or them treating you in a way where you have to prove yourself. Because you said you prove yourself. So I'm saying, like, right.
So you know what I do?
Okay.
I do the opposite of what everybody else do. I ask for overtime, 4 shifts. And then they say, how come nobody else gonna come and do shifts? They say nobody else gonna come and do overtime.
That's a little bit.
Wait, hold on. I want him to say I want him to finish what he's about to say. Then I gotta go to Nurse Shay. Then I'm gonna go to Nurse Dial. Okay. So go ahead, Brandon.
I just do more shifts. They say, man, I'm short. I am short. Can I get anybody to come in, please? And y'all know the managers that call everybody 30 times trying to get people to come to work. I say, yeah, put me on the schedule. I'll be there.
Yep.
The next day, I'll be there. The next day after that, I'll be there. And eventually, you know what they say? They say, man, I treat this guy. They might say, you know, I don't treat him fair, but if I call him, he gonna come. He gonna
We're
come.
built for this. We're just built for this.
And it's just like you just show up and you do your job, and you know what they say? The second or third time you pick it up, they ease up off you. They ease up because they say, if I treat him like this, they think they're gonna stop me from coming, but they really not.
Nurse Shay, I gotta get your thoughts on what Nurse Brandon is saying. What please give me your thoughts.
I think both of the two men are very comfortable. It's on some yes, do whatever you say, sir.
No,
no. You chasing the bag.
Hold on. I gotta go ahead. Let her get it in. Let her get it in. Go ahead.
Talking over me. Stop talking over me. Listen, I'm not whomever, non-black or whomever is prejudiced toward me or whatever. They treat me like crap, or they giving me this X amount of patients when you know you're supposed to have what 1 or 2 on the ICU, correct? And they giving you more or whatever the unit that you on. I'm not gonna just listen. I'm not gonna just deal with it. I'm not gonna do no extra overtime for you or anything like that. But that's just me.
That's fine.
You're very comfortable. You're gonna do with whomever that you're saying.
I'm gonna do what it takes.
I'm here for the patients, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But I bet you wouldn't step in that unit if you was getting $5, $10 an hour. You wouldn't do it.
That was my profession.
But you would do it though. You would not do it.
I was doing overtime before the pandemic.
That crap or nothing. I'm never going to let somebody talk to me any type of way. I'm going to call you out every single time. Okay.
And that's the problem. That's the problem.
CJ.
Yes, because I get it. Y'all are men. Y'all think logical, and more women are emotional.
And y'all too emotional. There we go. Look,
CJ, quick question. Look at how the guys address situations and look at how the girls address the situations. Who would you rather work with?
So we got the men.
I'll be honest.
We got our black men.
But listen,
that's exactly.
Given the same situation, you talked over me. You said don't talk over you, right? Okay. You're talking over me. Thank you. So look, given the same situations and seeing the outlook on the situations from the top half of the panel, from the bottom half, who do you think you have a better experience at work with?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, Lord, you're trying to get me.
You're saying neutral.
Because I'm on my Lapeef stuff right now. But no, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. I've never worked with any of the ladies down here. I've never worked with any.
Given the situation, don't go around the question. Given the same situations, we see stuff on two different perspectives.
Right.
One is like the glass is half empty. The other one we're seeing it half full. Which one do you think you'll have a better experience at work with?
I'm gonna keep it real, man. Because this isn't a real life scenario. I can't. It's hard for me to answer that question, man. Because one person might be weak in one area, the other person might be strong. I know I'm getting my politician on right now. I'm keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real because, like I said, I may be whack at something in this area, but if I know Brandon is better at that than me, I'm gonna holler at Brandon, regardless of what we talk about. Emotional though.
Brandon is going to break his neck to go over there and help you, CJ. Like I said, when I go to the job,
but Roxy, if Nurse Roxy is there with me and we partners, and I need her help, I have no reason not to think Nurse Roxy not gonna help me out or Nurse Shay or so. I just think it depends on the scenario, man. That's a loaded question.
I'm saying the given scenarios. Look, we just said that if somebody doesn't like us, the top half said we're going to work extra, not for them, but for us, because we already know what this thing entails versus cursing them out. Which one?
So you talking about the top?
Nurse Shay says she's gonna curse him out every chance she gets, and we said we're gonna.
No, she didn't say that.
And she doing this, doing this in their face.
Yeah, awesome. Like you can't do that to somebody and be like, "Yo."
All right, well, let me ask y'all, fellas. Let me ask y'all: if somebody came up to y'all and was blatantly disrespectful, just blatantly disrespectful in y'all face, how would y'all handle it? What would be the best point of action?
Can one of the women in the panelists give me a scenario? Because Can one of the women tell me a disrespectful situation?
Ladies.
It's three.
Oh, I can give
Y'all
you a
gotta
disrespectful situation. I used
Go
to
ahead.
work at this place, and it was predominantly black staff. This one white, the white guy he came actually at the job the same time I came. We were hired the same day. But older white guy, he had some experience in management. And not to go off the topic, but he did have like a mean sneaker game, right? And you know how black folks is with the sneakers. So every day people would come, oh, you got them J's on. People was on him, giving like pumping his head up. But he had this little thing with him where he always looked down on the black staff. So he would go into the clinic space where it was like an outpatient clinic setting, right? So he would go
Roxy,
in there
not to
and
cut
he
you
would
out. What
like
do you mean
literally,
look down? What do you mean look down? Can you explain that real quick?
So for instance, no other RN, I'm an RN. No one was going in there making a division between the LPNs and RNs. No one was doing that. All of these people have been working at this company for like 3 or 4 years. They knew these patients. This is like an outpatient / day center for like older adults. They knew those wounds. They knew how to take care of those wounds. They knew the family members. They knew the patient. When I showed up, I was just showing up just to say like, come on, like y'all just show me, what we need to do. Him he's also was an RN just like myself, but he would come in there and he would always, oh, you should put silver on this. Y'all, we should be doing this. Then he started getting into a way where he started trying to clock people time. So people coming to work, you know how we do, 8 o'clock and 8:05 is the same time, but not for him. He'd be there at 7:55, pointing out everything that wasn't done because somebody else didn't do it. Like, oh, well, this could have got done if Greg was here on time, and that could have got done if Paul was here on time. He was doing that kind of thing. It got to the point where as you get closer up top, you know how that hierarchy is. It was a bunch of white people in management. Well, although he came in the same time I came in, slowly but surely, this man could talk to quality people and the people in HR like he is their best friend. So by the time you know it, it started to kind of get to a place where they start to kind of roll out some policies around when people could come to work, what time they had to come to work, who had to be here, who had to be there. It was being ran like an old-fashioned plantation. And so the opportunity to get his ass out of there, I jumped.
Hold on, let her finish. Let her finish.
Tell you, I got his ass right up out of there because he slipped up one day doing one of his little white privilege things, because it was a predominantly black staff, predominantly black thing. That's the beauty of living in a black city like Philly, right? So it was one of them corners that it was just a lot of us. We were a strong group. So he walked into the room with these 2 white staff members, always kind of talking over black people and talking directly to the 2 white people. That was his habit. We were all in a little conference room. He walks past the black folks, ain't greet nobody, talking to them about the baseball game, slips in. Yeah, he said, he used a statement, I gang bang Mrs. whatever the patient is, right? But when he was saying it, what he was really alluding to was the fact that he packed up all of her stuff and got her stuff, like she was moving from one location to the next. He was assisting her with packing up her stuff, essentially, right? So he made that statement, and I went ahead and reported him to HR. Yup. So I went and reported him to HR, and when I reported him to HR, not just to report him to HR. They took so long trying to investigate what the gangbang statement was, because other people vouched that he said that. He did a lot of other rude stuff before. Trust me. He had a rap sheet where once the report came out of my complaint, people just started to like say like, yeah, he did this. His stuff was coming out. So anyway, they took such a long time at HR to come circle wagons to come around and say something to him that I had actually put in a 2 weeks notice, quit the job and everything. But then I went ahead and reported that to the Department of Labor, that what was going on there. Said there was an investigation that should have been made. They was playing patty cake. He was there so long. This man is still coming to me, asking me, even after put my 2 weeks notice in, oh, I heard that somebody put a sexual harassment thing. I don't mean that. I made a statement about a patient. I'm like, oh, okay. You still coming to me, talking to me about that. that made me feel uncomfortable that he could even come to me talk, because they never even took a day off of work. They ain't suspend him. They ain't investigate nothing. All they did is pull him to HR and told him what was the complaint.
It was
So
an
wrong,
allegation.
wrong, wrong, all around the board.
So
Reported
so
it to Department of Labor, and they had me sit home for 6 months, honey. Although I put that 2 weeks notice in and got my full vacation, everything paid. Department of Labor said, although we don't typically give unemployment to individuals who resign from a position, under your circumstances, you couldn't possibly stay at that job any longer, because if you put a complaint out on someone and they could come back to you and ask you about the complaint, that means that nobody did anything about it, which I knew was the case, that nobody did anything about it. So the VP went bye-bye, the manager went bye-bye, and he went bye-bye too. All three of them, 1, 2, 3, out of here.
That sounds like
Okay.
privilege.
so hold on. I know she clapping. I see her clapping, but
Clapping, I got a particularly disrespectful relationship. Go
so
ahead.
the first
Okay, we're
incident.
gonna at the Brandon respond. I gotta get Nurse Dial, and then we're gonna go on order. Go ahead, Brandon. Please respond to that.
So the first one with her saying that she clocked in at 8:05 and clocking is at 8 o'clock, and some people got in trouble and some people didn't.
Not me. Oh, so you have to understand, he felt comfortable coming to me with that stuff, because you see when sister over there says she dot her I's and cross her T's. Oh, that's me. I'm dot I's cross T. I didn't go in that job to stay in that position. I went into that job because I wanted to go into a quality position. So when I came there, I said, I'll come in the front door, the way they always force us to go in the front door. You know, we can never go straight to the management position. We always got to start low and be humble first. So I started humble, went and bend my knees, and was always there early. He was there at 7:55. I was there at 7:55 right there with him. But he would always come to me and tell me about who was running late and everything like that. So that's how I knew he was keeping tabs on people. So I started to go and tell them, you need to be careful, because this man keep telling me about when you coming into work. That's how I knew he was a problem. And in fact, they used to call him the undercover boss behind his back, because, well, after a while, they started telling to his face, because he would always come around everybody. All the LPNs had to know they was LPNs. All the RNs had to know that they don't have the experience he has. And that was he had that little white chip on his shoulder. And in Philadelphia, we don't play that.
All right, Brandon, go ahead and respond to what she said.
I mean,
then I gotta get the Nurse Dial. Then I'm gonna go to Malik.
I don't really worry about what time everybody else clock in. I only worry about myself. And even if somebody else is clocking everybody else, it don't really pertain to me. I really don't care. I kind of just, as long as I get that, if she said the cutoff is 8 o'clock, as long as I'm there before 8 o'clock, I'm fine with it. I wouldn't go back and tell everybody, hey, he's watching what time you leave and what time you come, because at the end of the day, they know what time they showed up. We all adults. Everybody knows. If you came late to work that day, you know you came late. like it's not a big secret. Like the clock usually on the clock when you clock in, it says 8:05. So I don't really listen to people watching everybody else and do their job. I just do my job. I wouldn't feel the need to go tell everybody, hey, he monitoring you, what time you clock in and clock out, because at the end of the day, we all adults. We all have to be accountable, right? And if you feel like you clock in once late and you get in trouble, and other people clock in many times, they don't get in trouble, just control what you can control. Just make sure you on time. That's it. Like, I just worry about me.
Okay. Nurse Dial, what was you about to say?
I was going to tell a small little story. I'm going to keep it brief about my last assignment. It was in California. It was for vaccinations, and we kind of created a new role called clinical director because it was so unorganized for vaccinations. This started in January. So it was a contract. So I wasn't hired in staff. I'm still technically on contract with them also. But out of the 4 clinical directors, 3 of us were Black. So it sounds pretty good, right? It was to the point where people like nurses in the field and team leads were literally saying that it was reverse racism going on. So what are all these Black people doing as clinical directors? That's what they were saying. So the fact that they said it was reverse racism, that's already racist in itself. Because why is it such an unbelievable act to have 3 out of 4 clinical directors that are Black? Anyway, to the story that happened, there was a secretary. I'm going to call her Jessica just because I don't feel like saying the secretary. I had a situation where one of my team leads called me and said that there was a nurse who was at the clinic, and she basically she said she wanted to commit suicide. She said she wanted to kill herself. So It was crazy. So the secretary was sitting next to me, so she heard the team lead on the phone tell me this. So she was ear hustling already in my business. So I kind of get up because the conversation is obviously getting a little more private. So I get up, so we start, kind of putting stuff into place, calling her family, doing what we need to do, make sure she got to the hospital. She did agree to go to the hospital. Anyway, all of that. So the secretary, I know she gets up and walks away, barely noticed. She comes back and she's like, I'm going to say Frank. Frank wants to talk to you. Frank is one of the vice presidents. Okay. So I go in there. Frank was like, oh, so I heard you have somebody who committed suicide. You need to do X, Y. For one, secretary, did you really you didn't call the chief quality officer. You didn't call the senior clinical director, who are all Black people. You went straight to the VP. For one, chain of command. But what made you think, as a clinical director, I am unable to handle this situation where you had to go and tell the vice president, who's here from like Atlanta or something? What makes you think that clinically you don't think I can clinically handle this situation? You as a secretary, when you should be typing somewhere, you listening to my conversation and reporting it to a vice president when I already handled the problem. Luckily, obviously, when he asked, because he's kind of confronting me like, why aren't you telling me about it? I said, well, it just happened. I'm on the phone trying to contact their mother, make sure she's at the hospital, make sure this person is okay, but it's handled. And he was like, oh, well, good. But the whole point is, this secretary lady, and I'm pretty sure it's because I'm Black, because whenever a situation happens, and the one white clinical director, they leave her alone. She can do whatever she wants. Like, nobody's ever getting involved with what she has to say. When she says something, it's like, okay, that's what it is. When we say something, it's 12 million questions behind it. So, I mean, no, she didn't walk up and say, well, Xavier, so I'm going to make sure I tell Frank. She didn't say that, but I mean, what else? I mean, why do you think, you as a secretary on this level, why do you think you can get involved in my affairs and talk to the vice president? He wouldn't even be the person I would have reported to. I would report it to the chief quality officer. She's my direct report, and that's who I reported it to. So you went over her, who's also a Black woman, and went straight to the vice president, who they have all of us in place to handle these problems, so you can't talk to them. And not only did he accept this conversation versus telling you you need to mind your business and follow the chain of command, he called me in there to question me about it.
Malik, what you feel about what you just heard?
I think that's a whole.
No, about that particular situation. That particular situation. What you feel about that?
I see what she's saying, but at the same time, not to diminish her experience, I think Brandon kind of feels the same way. It has to be no other X factors in the situation for me, or at least for me to consider it racism.
Okay.
And like, I mean,
women. I think it's women.
Hold on. Wait. Let me get Malik thoughts, because I gotta go in order. I gotta get Nurse Shay. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't think that's diminishing anybody's experience. It's just, we understand to control the controllables. If I do all of that, then I get called a nigger. Then all right, yo, this nigga just fucking racist. It's like, it's
so
like,
if somebody went over your head, a chain of command, and you doing what you were supposed to be do you wouldn't care? It would, or would you chop that up as to somebody not liking you, or maybe it's the color of your skin? That's what I want to know.
Nurse Nicki Minaj, that was my name, Nurse Nicki Minaj.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I forgot to add that.
Wait, he called you Nurse Nicki Minaj?
That's what she calls me, Jessica.
She called you Nurse Nicki Minaj, trying to be funny.
When I first got in the role, she was like, "Okay, here we got Nurse Nicki Minaj here."
Okay.
I give coworker names. I mean,
why would you call me Nurse Nicki Minaj? Though
maybe,
I mean,
maybe
you're here, maybe. I mean, it reminds me of Nikki.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Nurse, hold on. Hold up. Shay, please respond.
I mean,
maybe
it's real. It's real. I mean, I definitely see the two differences between men and women, and I've seen what I needed to see today.
What did you need to see? What do you feel? I want you to say what you feel. Let it out. Let's talk.
I just think a lot of men in this profession are very comfortable. I mean, just how y'all were saying about me pointing the finger loud, or who would you rather work with and stuff like that. That says a lot about you. That does not determine my skill set and what I can do on the floor. and how I can treat these patients. At the end of the day, they're alive, you know? And I just don't know what to say. Like, I'm just going to say what I need to say every single time. I'm not going to let these other nurses get away with what they're doing. So that's all I can really say about that. You know, kudos to you. What is your name? I'm Nurse Doll, and then you have the other one. Who's
Nurse Roxy, Nurse Doll, Nurse Brandon, Nurse Malik,
who
and CJ.
for getting it up to the man to reporting these people. That's how it's supposed to be done. Knocking these people out. I mean, if we could just get one, that's for everybody else, you know? For everybody else, you know? So I'm sorry, what did she say?
She had 3. I don't know. She went like this. I don't know.
I said I got them 3 people out of there. There was the manager covering up for him, VP covering up. VP had to go, manager had to go, he had to go. They went 1, 2, 3 out the door. And the VP was the regional VP. So that was Pennsylvania, Virginia. Got her right on out of there. Bye, gotta go. Go find somewhere else you could be racist at.
So stories like that give me hope, you know, give me hope with this profession, because the more that us Black people be complacent in this type of things, that means they can continue to walk over us, and it's just not going to happen with me. So, I mean, as a man, I mean, if you want to continue to do that, but I mean, us Black women, we're going to change the game. I'm sorry. We're going to change it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be fair to both sides because
Be fair to both sides, but I've seen what I say.
yeah, I want to be fair to both sides because the two gentlemen have stated that they don't think they've ran into any situations where they have been racist.
Well, I did have a
them.
situation. I did have a situation.
Oh, with that, but that was with the patient, right? That was with the
Yeah.
patient.
Y'all.
Well, these ladies are speaking from management,
I'm sorry.
Oh,
like a management perspective. So I just feel like it's truth to both sides. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that there is no racism in nursing because I have not experienced it. I can't negate anybody else's experience because I'm still so new. So a lot of things I have not done nor experienced. But at the same time, I do understand where the fellas are coming from as far as the mentality. They feel like, well, you know, it is what it is. Let's get to work. I'm gonna try to make the best of the situation, and then we're gonna move on about our day. But I feel where the ladies are coming from as well, where they're saying that no, it is some injustice going on here. This cannot stand. I'm gonna do what I need to do to make things right. So we are at the 2-hour mark. I did not know this show was gonna run this long. So I want to go in a circle and I'm gonna let everybody say their last things, and maybe we can do like a 5-minute free discussion for whatever y'all want to talk about for like 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll wrap it up. So I'll start in order. We'll go ladies first. Nurse Roxy, any final words that you want to say? Anything you want to get off your chest?
I want to thank you for allowing me to be on the panel with these other nurses. I believe that we all have our own experiences and we all, obviously had something contribute to the discussion. I don't want to discredit anything that's going on with any of the nurses here. I just know for me, I feel like we have a harder time as Black nurses. We oftentimes do have to prove ourselves. And when our counterparts want to advance in nursing, they don't have to go to school and pick up no extra loans. They don't have to go and run down no extra certifications. People just pull them aside, give them an opportunity. And that 3 or 4 years or 5 years of experience that could that's equivalent to that debt inducing that debt required degree, they can skip out of it because people will give them a shot, just cause. So that's my last words there.
Nurse Shay.
Yeah, thank you for letting me on the platform. I will definitely be joining you again. I like this type of stuff. I mean,
Yeah. I'm hoping I could have all of y'all back. I would love to turn this into something weekly, maybe if y'all have the time. I know a lot of y'all are busy, but yeah, I would love to do that. But go ahead, Nurse Shay.
Yeah, I love these type of conversations. To the two men or the other women, no hard feelings or anything like that. But I enjoyed this conversation. We should definitely bring all of us together again, so I can put it on my platform and we can all grow our channels as well. But like I said, we're not going to negate everybody's feelings. It happens. But like I said, it is what it is. It's real out here for us Black nurses. It's real. So, yeah.
Nurse Dow, aka Nurse Minaj. Go ahead, say what you gotta say.
I want to see why they call you Minaj. I just want to see why they call you that.
Well,
That's pretty funny.
I got called CeeLo yesterday. Somebody called me
Now,
CeeLo. I
I
ain't
think
care.
that's funny. That's not racist. That's funny. That's funny.
I don't care. Go
I'm
ahead. Go ahead.
laughing.
Go
I'm
ahead,
laughing.
Nurse Doll. Go ahead.
y'all silly. Thank you
A
very much.
black woman called me CeeLo though. It was a black woman that did that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, that's racist.
That's right.
No, I'm messing. I'm messing.
Go
Super
ahead. Go ahead.
racist. Super racist.
Oh
Was
my
she white?
No, she's
she was
black.
like, well,
She's
thank
Oh,
y'all
she
black.
was black.
for
Oh,
the
okay.
platform. It was nice talking to y'all and everything. Super interesting to see like the guy's perspective because I kind of always wondered about the black male nurse experience because I noticed like some of my black male nurse friends, they rarely have any complaints about anything. They just like, so it's really interesting to hear like what you guys have to say in depth. It was definitely nice to hear Shay Shay's experiences in the LTAC. I can definitely relate to that. And of course, Nurse Roxy, especially like sometimes like I realized that racism, when I was on the floor, I didn't experience it so much until I got into the office. So in the office,
Mm.
it was way different than on the floor. My experience there, I didn't really see any racism. You got your own patients, you mind your business, and nobody really, you help people when they need help, but nobody really is in your business. Like in the office, we're intermingling, we're in these meetings, we have to talk to each other. You're not getting the information I need because you don't like me for whatever reason, or anything. I'm not gonna start a conversation over again. But it was really just nice to see like different settings and like see where y'all were coming from. So that's all
I
I have.
do.
Thank you. Huh.
I appreciate y'all. I do want to add a lighthearted question at the end of everybody saying what they gotta say. Malik, go ahead. Go ahead. Any last words or anything you want to say?
I think it was a great conversation, and I think it's important to see how like you can see the clear distinction between the two perspectives um on the panel, and which I think is great. I think these conversations are needed to kind of understand each other. Um, like I said, I grew up in a project, so like I said, I grew up understanding I got to work twice as hard, so I don't complain about it. And I'm not saying you guys are complaining. I'm just saying like it's ingrained in me. I've been working overtime since high school. Like it's a thing in me. Like I can't blame nobody else but myself. It's like I'm just so used to it's the mentality I have. I'm always the biggest. I'm my own biggest enemy. I'll figure everything out, and like I just like I said, it's in me, and that's not to diminish anybody else's experience. I'm just saying, in every situation I was in, it's something I could have did different, or something I could have did better. I think me and Brandon, I think we're used to challenges. I think we go. I've been playing sports my entire life, so and like competing twice as hard my entire life. I'm sorry. I think I'm kind of rambling, but
You good?
I'm just used to like this mentality, and maybe that helps me in the hospital setting.
Um, Nurse Brandon, go ahead, sir.
Um, I guess my theory and I guess my analogy I can use is kind of like to sum up my opinion. It's like in life, it's 10% of what happens to you, but it's 90% how you react to it. Um, 10 people could go through the same exact thing, and they got all hard 10 different experiences. Some could be good, some could be bad, but at the end of the day, it's how that person reacted to everything. We all go through obstacles in life, and no matter what happens to us, we have to take accountability for where we ended up because we all kind of put ourselves there in a way. In a way, maybe a decision we made, maybe a friendship that we didn't make or that we did make. But I'm gonna just say in life, it's 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. And I'll give you an example. In nursing school, when I first started, the first semester, me and like five guys really, all the five, we was failing. We all were failing, right? And this one guy had a great idea. He was just like, man, let's just withdraw before the deadline so we get our money back. It's like, and I was just like, what? He was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go get my money back and I'm gonna let y'all figure it out. So he left, he quit. So he was out the program. So it was four of us left, right? One dude just said one dude said he not gonna go to tutoring, he gonna go and figure it out on his own. So he left. So there was three of us. We start going to the teacher offices. we start telling the teacher, I know you have office hours this week, but can we just come by for like 45 minutes to go over these topics we don't understand? He said, look, I don't have office hours, but if you can come at this time, I'll see you. But if you can't make it, unfortunately, I can't see none of y'all. So we all made it to that time. And we all persevered. We all went through whatever we did, whatever we could. We did whatever we could. That one guy who did it on his own, he fell. He ain't show up to no teachers meeting. He gonna go lock himself in his room and do it on his own. He fell. The three of us who all kind of band together and made it happen, we all took notes. We all shared notes. We all slept at each other's houses. We all went to all the teacher office hours. We all nurses today. So I'm not saying in life things are fair. This person ain't gonna like you. And there was a couple of teachers. I went to a white private school. I was the only black guy in my class. And the class ahead of me was one black guy, and the class below me was one black guy. And in the whole nursing program, it was probably like 14 of us and like 130, 40, 150 females. Right? So those are just the numbers I'm telling you, the odds I was up against. And I'm gonna just say the three of us who band together and we basically worked out together. We lived together. We studied together. We lived nursing. And one of the dudes that was in my group is a CRNA today. So I'm going to just say it really depends. It's not what happens to you. It's how you react to it. Because that one guy who quit and just left, he's not a nurse. And the guy who just wanted to do it on his own, do his own thing, do it his way, not the right way, his way, he didn't make it. Okay. So that's what I'm gonna leave. It's how you react to things. It's not necessarily what happens. Everybody gonna have a patient eventually down them. If you're a nurse and you work on the floor long enough, I don't care where you work, a patient will down you. It's how you react to it.
I appreciate that. And
I don't have an Instagram or no Facebook. I'm gonna put my phone number in the private chat. If any of you ladies, I don't have any social media outlets or any YouTube page. So if anyone want me to show up any podcast, anything, just we can schedule it. Just let me know at least a day or two in advance. I do work a lot. I'm letting you ladies know it's gonna have to be a night live stream, like 8:00. Today I'm just on one of those stretches where I have like 3 or 4 days off. Malik and CJ know why I kind of did my like that, but right now I have an extended period of time off. But if any of you ladies want to do a podcast, a stream, a YouTube session, I'll give you my number. You guys can call me. And to be honest, today is the first day I've met Malik and CJ. I don't know if you guys know that. We all share a common mentor, and that's how we know each other. But before today, I've never spoken to CJ before, and before today, I never spoke. Basically, everybody on this panel I just met today.
Well, nice to meet you.
Yeah, we appreciate. Yeah, man. I definitely appreciate everybody joining the panel and everything like that. And if y'all gotta go, y'all can. But if y'all can stay like 10 extra minutes, then please do, because I do want to ask a question, and y'all don't have to answer if not. But if you don't want to, but on some lighthearted stuff, let me just say: is it difficult for nurses to find love?
Yes.
No.
Is it difficult? Is it hard for nurses today? Are nurses difficult today? And is it hard to find love? Y'all don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I'm going to definitely start with the ladies. Nurse Shay, let me start with you. You don't have to put your business out there if you don't want to, but if you want to, go ahead and feel free.
I'd say as a traveler now, maybe so. I mean, yeah, I've dated men in several different states and everything like that. And a lot of people don't like that long distance there. But yeah, it depends on what you guys want in the relationship. Are you willing to like stick it out and everything? But as far as like love, the last guy that I was truly in a relationship, he was a pilot. So I mean, being gone that long, we had like we shared similar interests and everything like that. But I realized I can't do this for too long because it does affect the eventually.
Would you stop traveling for the right guy?
Yeah.
If the right guy came along and said, "Nurse Shay, I'm tired of you traveling. I need you in my life now," and he was what you wanted. He had most of the things you wanted in a man. You giving it up? You giving that bag up?
Yeah, If he meets all of that, my needs and my wants and these bills, yeah.
The bills. Would you
Yeah.
could you
all
date
wrong.
could you date a man? Could you date a man making less than you?
Hell
Don't
no.
start that now, CJ.
Oh, I'm starting it. I'm starting it.
Don't start.
No, Shay, could you date a man making less than you?
Join that live. I just was a little bit too busy, but no, that answer is absolutely not.
I'm on the YouTube channel.
You said absolutely not.
Absolutely
No way.
no way.
Why? Why? Because y'all know I'm finna clip this up. Why? Because why could you not date a man making less than you? Oh, my bad. I'm my bad. My bad. Hold on. Go ahead. My bad. I clicked it by accident. Go ahead. Why couldn't you do it?
How I see a man that has not achieved the best he can, right? He has not done everything he's like. He's gonna constantly bring that woman down. if he makes more than him. I mean, honestly, if I'm making more than you, we living together, I'm just gonna see you as a roommate.
Damn.
Roommate.
Touch my pearls too, like Roxy.
I put myself through school. I paid all my bills, my car, all that stuff. I travel. I can book a flight right now. I can do all of that. If I'm meeting a man, he comes in my life and he has all these great qualities, which I had before, but the money is not there. It's always going to be a problem for him, whether he admits it or not.
Okay, but and I'm gonna get to the rest of y'all. But Nurse Shay, let's just say y'all know I love scenario. Let's just say you meet a man, he look good, he treats you the way you want to be treated mentally, physically, emotionally, but he make $15 an hour. But he do everything that you need. He satisfy you emotionally, physically, mentally, all that stuff. But he's okay with being at $15 an hour.
I hate that we live in a world like this where we have to really weigh these type of options. But
oh yeah.
I would say we would have to be friends. We would have to.
So on the flip side, you got a man who's 5'2". He's a little pudgy, but he makes $300,000 a year, and he's a nice guy. You gonna give him a shot?
He's a nice guy. I mean,
he a little pudgy. He's short and he pudgy.
They don't want nice guys, but
yeah. I mean, honestly, that's a loaded question. I mean, I have to weigh a lot.
It's not loaded, dear. He treats you right physically, mentally, and emotionally. There's nothing loaded about it. It's the same guy, but he's just less good looking to you. But he makes the bag, $300,000 a year.
Yeah, I've dated some men that were very mid. You know, me. I mean, honestly, I don't see that I'm like top notch IG model and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I've seen deeper than that. You know, so yeah.
But as long as the bag is correct, is that what you're saying?
Right, she can see deeper than that. As long as the bag is big enough, let's be clear. As long as the bag is big enough, she can see clear. She can see deeply.
Yeah, 20/20 vision. Yeah.
Woo! Miss Roxy. Now I've never had a conversation with you before. I've talked to Nurse Dial. I've talked to Nurse Shay a bit. Nurse Roxy, I don't know what your status is, but let's just say in a hypothetical world, single. Are you? Is it hard dating? Could you? Oh. Never mind. But let's just say in another world, you are a single woman, right? And you meet a man, and you making what you make, and we ain't disrespecting the Walmart workers, but let's just say he works in the video game department at Walmart.
Why the video game?
Are you gonna talk to him? Are you giving him a shot, Nurse Roxy?
Okay, so first of all, there is something to be said about someone at a certain age not wanting more for themselves. So I think I'm one to believe the way a person does one thing. I'm echoing. I don't know why. Why am I echoing?
You're not echoing on me.
Okay. So I'm one to believe that the way a person does one thing, they do everything. So if a person is choosing to be mediocre in their own personal life, I just assume, like Shay said, that Shay said that person most likely is going to bring me down. So that's one thing. But I would say this. I do believe that if you have like ambition, you're showing yourself to be ambitious, then I think I would definitely work with you. Like, I'll just be
No, Nurse Roxy. He's satisfied being a video game director at Walmart, making $15 an hour. But he's a great man. He's a great man. He treats you well.
No, that he's not a great man for me, because I would not be able to see his greatness. I would not be able to see his greatness because the sex would not do it for me. The sex would not. It could be sex. What else could he bring? You'd have to be cooking.
Whoa, wait. So you say
the children.
Say that one more time. Say it one more time. Backtrack.
What
one more
could
time.
you possibly? So here's a question: what would he be bringing to the table if he is? If he
to the table talk, because that's gonna go sideways. Let's not do that. Bring to the table. Let's not do that.
No. Wait. So what's your question? Say it again. No. What's your question?
What is he bringing to the table if he doesn't? If he's not an ambitious person?
He cares for you. He cares for you. He protects you. He all that stuff.
They come a dime.
That's what I went to nursing school for. I went to nursing school to take care of myself.
Oh snap!
So I can go down. I can go down to South Street of Philadelphia and go to a store. There's a store called Condemnation, and you can go down there and get every toy in the world.
Time out.
Hold on. Oh, okay.
You live in Philly.
What does your husband do for a living, Roxy?
And you don't have to say that if you don't want to.
He is an auditor for the Department of Health and Human Services in the office of the Inspector General.
I don't know. So what does he do? What does he do?
He is an auditor.
Is he like an accountant auditor or what kind of auditor?
Yes, accounting auditor.
Okay. Does he make more money than you?
At the beginning, he did not. Because when I first met him, I was already a nurse, and he was in school. This was actually a little bit before he actually was in school, but he was working for the federal government. But so
imagine if you had that same mindset then that you do now.
What do you mean?
Like he didn't make no money. He was in school. He didn't really make. You made more money than him, right?
And I was still with him, but he had to show me that he had the potential and that he had the ambition to do something more with himself, which he showed me. Which he did. So
did he have to make more? Did he have to make more than you? Did he have to make more than you?
It had to show the first thing, ambition. He started making more than me probably just maybe 2 years ago.
Well, I can be an ambitious flower picker. That don't mean I'm gonna make more than you.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll tell you something. If you are let's just say hypothetically you are an artist. You know the starving artist thing, right? So say if you're an artist, but you're very ambitious, you're talented, you invest in your craft. I'm for the dreamer. But that's not the analogy that you gave. The scenario you gave was somebody working where?
At the Walmart.
Walmart, video game director, just got promoted.
So no, he'd have to show me what his 5-year plan is for me to be interested in it. And then on top of it, because of the way my situation is set up, I would not be turned on to have sex with him. So I would probably be using a lot of toys and assistance until the money is up.
Man, it's something about
Lord have mercy.
No.
So wait a minute. So it's drying. So him not making enough is gonna dry you up. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
It would be like as soon as he even mentioned something about being hungry, any needs he has, I'd be looking at like, who's gonna help you? Like, is your mom gonna help you? Because it's like, we roommates. Did Shay say roommates? Because we were roommates. Yeah,
Nurse Dow. I gotta get to Nurse Dow. Nurse Nikki.
You ain't go with Kevin Samuels me again.
Nurse Minaj. Okay. Same question to you. Because the old channel got deleted. The people don't know this new stuff. So Nurse Minaj. No, I'm playing Nurse Dow. Same scenario, man. I mean, damn.
At the Walmart, right?
Walmart. But he looked good. He treats you well. He's a nice guy. He can protect you.
Treated me well because I would never be talking to nobody at the Walmart.
Oh, Lord.
I'm trying to be funny.
What if he the district manager? What if he like the district manager of Walmart though? You could talk to somebody working at Walmart now. There's some people at Walmart that make.
Not at the video game stand. That's what he thought.
Well, okay,
That's what I said. Because I said the video game for a reason, because he makes significantly less. That was my whole point.
So for one, I ain't gonna be over there in the video game section in the first place. For two, I'm sure he's a nice person for the lady who works in the flower section. So he's in the flower section, and they can just like have a Walmart love affair, and that's fine. And I'll leave me out of it. So no, I'd rather not.
Well, it's hard out here for a
I
pimp.
don't think I'm better than him. Like personal people are people. However, I don't want to date nobody from the video game section. Why? Because I don't want to.
Okay. Ladies.
I'm gonna keep it right there.
Ladies. Okay, and I gotta get to the fellas, but Nurse Roxy, you married, so you out the game. Y'all know that most people, let alone women, let alone men, they don't make as much as nurses. So how can you expect that? Like that's just not happening. It's not that common. So what is the solution?
I'm not gonna say more, but I would say like comparable, and that's like education wise, type of job wise, like especially.
So what would a man have to make to keep you set to where you're okay with that? Give me a range. Give me a range. For all the fellas that may be watching and want to holler at Nurse Dial, what's the range? What's the entry rate?
Wow,
150.
150. Damn.
Hey, that's the guy I'm dating. Yeah.
You said
150, huh?
What did you say?
150.
You said a guy you making at least 150.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy.
Okay.
Making 150.
Mm-hmm. Would you be open to him having?
So he makes the minimum basically for you. He just at the minimum. He made the minimum requirement.
So that's minimum. Wait, hold on. Wait, that's minimum?
Well, I mean, that's the area. I didn't give you a range. I'm just saying, like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He said, "What's the minimum?" And you said 150. That's why I was like,
"Oh, okay." I misheard him. I'm sorry, Brent.
Nurse Shay. What's your range?
For a man like dating now, every man that I've dated has been between 150 and 200,000.
Woo! Y'all need to do a show. Y'all need to do a show on where to meet these niggas. I'm sorry, where to meet these guys at? Because a lot of women are probably
is they're much older and they're established. I
can say it's levels though. Like, what kind of dating are we doing? Because the ones who are like over 150 and the higher earners, they not really
trying to settle down.
Not for real. It's just like you're
right. Right, because they got all that money and they want to go out here and be with women. Yeah,
some of them. I can say that. Yeah. For sure. The ones I've met, like in my travels.
Fellas, I gotta get y'all.
I want to go first. I just gotta say this because I gotta go soon. Right?
Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
Which one is in the middle? Which one was it with the Scully on? What's
Nurse Shay. Nurse Shay.
Right. You're LPN, right? And you said the last couple of dudes you made 150 to 250.
200,000.
Oh, okay. 150 to 200. That puts them top. I'm gonna say top 10%. Right.
Mm-hmm. That's more like top 3. Mm-hmm. That's more like top 3.
Right now, I'm pretty sure Malik is top 3 or better. I'm pretty sure I'm top 3 or better. I'm pretty sure CJ, if you really did take out vacation every other week, CJ, you'll be up there. You just like CJ never working. He always traveling. But if he actually wanted to, he probably could make.
I stay at work. I just document when I'm on vacation. But go ahead. Okay.
So I'm trying to say is, do you think your minimum being 150 to 200 is fair? It's fair.
Mm-hmm. Any man that wants,
because even male nurses that staff nurses don't even make that. And they're well educated. They're just as educated as you. They probably work as hard as you. They probably can provide your lifestyle. Even with you joining them, are probably better than you by yourself. It might not be 150, 200, but I'm talking about for the everyday worker. That's not me because obviously I travel. But do you think it's fair to say a high number like 150 to 200? I mean, everybody has their preference. Everybody allowed to get what they want. Like, you can ask for whatever you want. When you get it, it's a different story. So I just want to know, do you think that's fair to say the minimum is 150 to 200?
Yes, because any man that wants to lead me, he has to have money.
Oh,
No, but
yo, that is funny. I'm loving this. Um,
You want
Roxy, did you have a
I'm just gonna
range?
be honest. I'm just gonna be honest.
want
Most
a
men that lead,
household, you will have money. You will
no,
lead.
but
No woman will respect you eventually if you don't have the money.
Oh, almost fell,
I
y'all.
mean, I mean, I'm ecstatic because I'm pretty sure I would bet a lot of money that I probably make more money than most people. I'm gonna say everybody, maybe one person on this panel, and I'm trying to be nice to say one person on this panel. But
What?
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear you. It was like breaking
No, I
up.
said like I probably make more money than everybody on this panel, probably besides one person, maybe. But I just feel like that's not fair because any man you. All right, I put it like this: the men that you make 150 to 200, have any of them ever proposed to you?
I haven't proposed at all.
Huh?
I haven't been proposed to at all.
You said you haven't been?
No.
And you said you have?
Mm-hmm.
You have? Okay.
So wait. See now, oh my God. So why didn't that work then? Like if the guy had money and everything, he was what you wanted. Why didn't you say yes?
It was about time for me at that moment.
Time.
It just wasn't working out, you know. So I mean, it goes deeper than that. But he had
Okay.
everything, but it was just time.
Okay. Nurse Roxy, did you have a range before you got married?
Okay, so I'm going to say I did not have a range. And I know this may sound very naive. I didn't have a range. For me, it was more about ambition, and really about, the goals, right? But I would say this, that let's just say that my husband he came from a very accomplished family. Let me just put it that way. So he had investments and different things like that. So, but if that wasn't the case, I probably wouldn't be married to him. Because I knew I came in knowing that he had those, that was the situation. I knew that.
Ladies, is it hard for y'all to submit to a man that's making less than you? So it's hard. That's the
Yes.
problem, right? If he make less than you, you can't submit to him.
That's something I'm working on right now because it's hard for me, like especially in the past. I think I've gotten a lot better. It's hard for me to be submissive in the first place. I'm not really a relationship as person. I'm like now, so I'm getting older. I am now, but it's a challenge for me, and that's something I have to really be very mindful about. Being submissive, but I just don't want to be led. Don't lead me off a cliff. You know, that's the thing. I'm very selective who I'm submissive to and around. But as far as a guy with money, I mean,
Well,
it depends on what kind of guy. Because some of you can't submit to either, because you'll be a fool. So I can't really say submit and finances really go hand in hand with me.
It's kind of funny, CJ. I heard none of them mention integrity. Like lead with money. Money is the end all be all. I wouldn't marry him. Huh?
That's what he asked about.
No, I'm just saying, like, there was no really, like, the one that was married, she said, her husband came with some financial meanings from his family background, but when she met him, he was in college trying to make it, So it's just funny that, like, she, even though he came from money and he didn't have money at the moment, she saw that he came from money and could potentially make money down the line.
So let me ask y'all a question, ladies.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Y'all do realize that a man making that kind of money, are you willing to stay in competition, to fight off that competition that breeds?
It breeds a lot.
So, and it brings a lot of competition. There is a lot of issues that I've had to deal with.
That's why integrity isn't. That's why I said integrity was kind
of
up there.
But even regardless, your husband, like I said, even if the man you choose could be, he's all about you. But like the thirst that comes from chicks, from a man making that kind of money, are you mentally prepared, or when you got married, Nurse Roxy, were you mentally prepared for what comes with that? Nurse Shay Shay, are you prepared for the competition that you're gonna have dealing with any man making I say a dude making $60,000-$70,000, let alone 150 to 250. Like, are you ready for that?
People fighting over Pookie and Ray Ray in the hood right now. So either way it go,
That's what I'm saying. Like, so like,
I'm gonna cry
that,
in a Rolls Royce and not in a Toyota.
well, that speaks volumes.
I'm just saying. Who got? I mean, people
A
want
man
to.
that make 150 can't afford a Rolls Royce. I'm just being honest. Like a man who make 150 can't afford a Rolls Royce.
Well, okay. Well,
I'm just being real. If you buy a Rolls Royce, you must be.
That's a saying. That's actually like a quote from a
Oh, okay.
So she using it as a metaphor. Got you. Okay. What about you, Nurse Shay Shay?
What was
The competition aspect of a man making that kind of money.
I don't care. I just don't care. That I'm not worried about that. I mean,
So you're not worried about the other chicks and everything like that. Do you
come in and he does something or whatever, thought about your character and whatnot, but I'm not worried about finding another one. I'm gonna just say that.
I
So
mean,
like
I know there's a lot of black men making 150 to 200 out here where you just had options like that, but I guess.
CJ, you know what I'm eventually about to do. I'm about to get into aviation. I put myself in a lot of places where high value men basically are, and it's not a no.
okay. Well, and that's great. That's a good thing. But I'm just saying, like a man making 150 to $250,000, regardless of how many men in that circle. I'm just asking, are you prepared for the competition that comes along with that? These women are willing and are killing over niggas who make $13 an hour. So let alone
that overtime.
Yes.
Remember that overtime I was talking about? Are you willing to put in that overtime?
I'm not worried about it.
She ain't worried about it.
I think it's important, like for like dating, if you want to date like those certain guys, appearance wise too. I know you have to work a hell of a lot harder appearance wise and keep yourself up a whole lot, like versus Ray Ray in the hood. Like Ray Ray might, he might be all right with my frontal being twisted, but Mr. Six Figures, I can say more times than not, they be wanting you to be on point.
Right.
I mean, I think I've invested a lot, and I look crazy right now because I'm just chilling at home. But I invested a lot in my appearance, so I'm not gonna be specific. But I try to keep myself up, work out, among other things and everything, because I just know that a person who does make six figures don't want to look at nothing ugly.
Well, I'll say this, and I'll be transparent about this. I did get plastic surgery as soon as I had my son.
Oh, girl.
I got everything done. Everything's tight. As soon as I had my baby, went right on that table. I think, how long did it take me? Maybe like maybe a year and a half after having them, I went and got everything done.
Wow. This is an interesting conversation, man. We might have to do a part 2 to this. Might have to wrap up, but I am gonna let my man's best in the world say what's up. He's definitely a supporter. What's going on, man?
What's up, family? Shout out to everybody on the panel. How are y'all doing? You know what I mean?
What's going on?
Much love to y'all on this wonderful Sunday. So I see that you're talking about like basically, like why do women choose men sometimes who are not financially empowered or even responsible? And that happens because sometimes that man is just cooking in areas where other men are not. You know what I mean?
No, what they saying is that they are high earning women. These women are they are more than the average woman. Yes. And they saying they not gonna deal with a man who make less than them. So and that's what we were talking. So it's kind of hard for the average fella to deal with these to deal with a woman in they sphere because they ain't coming with the bags. Nurse Roxy said it won't even get wet for if you ain't got the right amount of paper. You dig? So I just, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, everybody has their standards and their criteria, right? And that's fine. I think that the thing that people have to realize is that because I've been in a situation with the one I'm with for over a decade. So I've been with the person I'm with for over a decade. So there's been times where I'm making crazy amount of money. My travel is being paid for. My food is being paid for because I'm a computer technician. So, when you're certified computer tech, you get certain perks. So with those perks, there's different things happening. But then there's been times where she has been making more than I have. Because she's a social worker, and she's been in the field for over 15 years. So due to that, there are times where she's making more. There's times where I'm making more. And there's times where the needs are being met, overly across the board. But the thing that still has to be maintained is our relationship, our communication, our standards, our morals. We have to still check in with each other. Because in life, there's different things that happen. Your health can be one thing. Your parents' health can be one thing. Relatives. Just life happens. So money is a factor, definitely. It is a necessity. But once that is covered, then you have to live life. And then once you're living life, you have to understand and you have to know who that person's character is, what their integrity is, what their morals, boundaries, and standards are, even what their religious beliefs are, because that plays a factor. So you got to know who this person really is. And if you don't know who they really are, then that money ain't going to really mean nothing. Trust me. I know. I live in one of the most high earning places in the world, which is Silicon Valley. If you don't know what Silicon Valley is, look it up. You got to have paper to live out here. So that money part is a factor, but it's not going to get you to the finish line. It's really who that person's character is. But yes, if that's what they desire, then okay, go for it. You have the understanding that their character is still what's going to shine at the end, most definitely.
So where are you from? San Jose?
I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, but I moved to San Jose because I became a certified computer technician.
San Jose. Okay, no problem.
Well, go ahead and shout out your platform because we actually about to wrap this up. And go ahead, Best in the World.
Most definitely. You can check us out at Knowledge and Relationships on YouTube. That's Knowledge and Relationships at YouTube. I'm the network manager for Knowledge and Relationships. High value nurse. Much love, brother. Salute to you. Salute to everybody on the panel. Have a good night, y'all.
I appreciate you coming in, man.
Definitely.
Ladies, my final question to y'all. Would you have, if you never get a man making the kind of money that you wanted, would you be willing, or would you had been willing to go through this life by yourself for the rest of your days? Would you be willing to die alone just because the man doesn't have?
Winter is coming.
Am I prepared to? I would just continue doing what I'm doing. I'll just be dating forever, I guess. I mean, I'm not saying like that's a difficult question, because I think my issue is, which I think some people, especially like women, like professional women, have struggled with, is you don't want to feel used, and you don't want to feel like you basically like taking care of somebody, and sometimes it can feel that way. So I think by default we kind of say, okay, he got to make at least this. When in reality, like Nurse Roxy said, she saw a lot in her husband ambition. He came from a good family. He had a good foundation where she was like, okay, I can see this happening. I agree with her in that aspect, but I almost think it's like a defense mechanism for me, just to be like, oh, it has to be this, And
so it sounds like you're scared of being used and abused.
Yeah, because it happens. Like everybody always says, like male nurses, not male nurses, female nurses are the biggest tricks, and a lot of them do. You look up on my travel assignments, and I'm pretty sure that I don't know y'all guys, so y'all probably don't get into people business like that. But Shay probably seen where, did your husband come with you? Yeah, he in the room. So you mean to tell me I'm here for 6 months in California? Your husband, he got time to be here for 6 months in California in the hotel room. The company paying for. Not enough.
He might work remote. No,
he don't work remote.
Listen. I thought the same thing until I thought the same thing until I met a nurse. Her husband made some very good money working remote.
Yeah. Okay, he got a job. But a lot of these women, they don't.
But the chances of that is probably low.
But do you know why the husband don't?
All of them ain't on disability. Everybody just missed. Okay. Because they lazy and they take.
I'm saying, why the women are with the guys who don't make more money than them?
Huh? I hear you.
He said, why the women ain't with guys that's making more money than with them? Do you know why? Why is it, Brandon? Why?
Because if you look at the numbers, y'all can't all get the same. Y'all can't get it. Y'all can't get it. Like it's okay. The problem is CJ, and CJ not going to admit this because CJ want to be.
I didn't say more money though. I didn't want to make that clear. I didn't say more. I didn't say more money. I said I gave y'all a number.
Okay, so you historically you made 150 a year.
I what?
Historically, you have made 150 a year. You've been a nurse for 8 years.
120 staff. But, obviously the pandemic we've made. So we've always done work to surpass that. But I mean, I'm talking about regular staff. When back in before pre-pandemic, when everything was all right with the world, I was making 120.
Is that with overtime though?
No, I was in management. I was director of nursing, so that was my 40 hours.
Okay. All right.
So wait, at 120. So you telling me there's no chance at 120 you could deal with a man making 48?
48 what?
48,000. 48,000. That's the average salary for a man. That's the average salary. So you telling me at 120, the man, he don't got no debt. He got his own everything. You just make 120, he make 48.
I don't believe that's the average. Because when people say
no, that's definitely average, and it's probably lower.
That's the average. That is the average.
It bothers me a little bit because, like, my male friends who I know, like, even the ones I'm not like romantically involved with, they are like professional men. They earn more than that. So when like people who I know, I don't know nobody making.
That's who you know. This is a big country.
Well, I pick good people that I see.
Right. So there's no way you could deal with a man making $48,000 a year. That is average.
I mean, honestly, I haven't yet, but I wouldn't just tell them.
Well, CJ, she's not gonna take 48 if her minimum is 150. Let's be real. She's not gonna take 40.
Thank you, Brandon.
So,
I didn't say it like that.
Okay, so I gotta ask a question for you because you said I guess you dating or whatever. You're not single, but you dating or whatever. So let me ask you. You said historically you made like 120, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a manager, right? So imagine if you saw that guy nurse in the ICU, like Malik or CJ working in the ICU, and they don't want to go into leadership. They're like, that's too much bull. They ain't trying to deal with all that. You don't like me. I don't like him. That whole, how can we say the politics in nursing, right? And let's say he make 90, 100, but he don't make that 150 he won't. But he still make an honest living, has no debt, financially responsible. If you single making $100,000, you can live a very good lifestyle.
Heck yeah, you in the top 15% of all people.
So your minimum is 150. So what are you going to tell that guy that makes 100, but your minimum is 150? But he does the same thing you do. You a nurse, he a nurse. You just happen to go in leadership. And he has more time off than you because you work 5 days a week because you work 40 hours and you work management. And he works 3 days, 4 days a week. And he got 4 days off every week to travel, spend time with his family, enjoy his bachelor lifestyle.
I'm glad you asked. That's where the ambition kicks in. Like, wow, you already making 100,000. We 30. So
no, but he still don't make.
Heck, Nurse Dial. Come on now. That man ain't gonna deal with you. He's gonna find him a woman that'll gladly deal with a $98,000 a year dude.
I mean, like, why? I'm just saying that's where your ambition kicks in because I'm pretty sure if you're already making $100,000, I'm assuming he's about like 30 or I'm about to be 30 next week, like me or whatever. I'm assuming this is not where you're capping stuff off because you don't seem like a person that just settles. If you already 30, you making $100,000. That's not the end of your story, and I can see that. But now, if you 30, you making 48,000, you have just as much time as me in the world. Worried about you a little bit.
Oh man!
I mean, that's not for me, but I'm just saying. When your minimum is 150,
you already told us you got all the money.
No, I didn't say. I'm just saying. I just find it funny that she said the girl. Well, I don't know her name. I don't know about names, but the one with the Scully on, she said her minimum was 150 to 200, and you said yours was 150. And when I see minimum is like a cutoff. Nursing school, they be like, what's the minimum GPA? Don't apply unless you got the minimum GPA. Mm-hmm. I take that as the minimum. Like, if you can't hit the minimum, you're not going to get in.
Well, this is
so
my
you say 150.
I answered the question improperly. You told me that earlier. He said the minimum. I gave the neighborhood, like, in that area.
So the guy making 100,000, no way. It's absolutely no way because he got to be more ambitious or what? You gonna give him the time of day or no?
I think 100,000 is good, and I think that's definitely an accomplishment. And I earning that much. That's not the end of their story. They're not gonna just cap at one. I made my 100,000. That's you. I'm reading the person at that point.
Okay, Nurse Shay Shay. Nurse Shay Shay. Are you, if you never find that guy making that with your range that you desire, would you be willing to date a man making less, or are you okay with dying alone?
I think he would just be the fun guy, honestly. I'm not settling. I'm not doing that. I see a lot of people they married with these people and you just end up getting cheated on. That's just really what it is.
Bye, boom.
Yeah. It's
Wait, so you say you rather get cheated on by a man with the bread versus a bum?
I'd rather not get cheated on at all. But
But you said by a bum, though.
that
You
makes
said
it worse. That's like stabbing me and twisting it.
Jesus.
I'm sorry, Shay Shay.
So you said he will be the fun guy, Nurse Shay Shay? Is that what you said?
he would just be the fun guy. I mean, yeah, you can make 100K, but what you gonna do with that 100K? You about to go own something? You about to get into some real estate? Something with some.
But what does the fun guy get that your husband like? What advantages does the fun guy don't get that the guy you marry gonna get? Let's be real. Let's be real.
I don't know.
You gonna still mess with the fun guy. So what's the difference between the fun guy and the guy you choose to marry?
Oh my God. People have
They get the same. They get the same product. So what's the difference?
get this.
Hey, the other one is gonna get paperwork. I'm gonna get the ring. You know what I'm saying? You know,
But
like
do you know the paperwork puts him at risk? The paperwork puts him more at risk to losing more paper. The fun guy don't have nothing to lose, and he get to enjoy the car all year long.
Yeah, that is true.
And he don't. And guess what? When he leave you, you leave it nothing because he ain't got nothing to give you.
huh? I'm sorry.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Nurse Shay Shay. That's a good point. What he's saying is that the fun guy that you're not really trying to build nothing with because he makes less is getting all the perks and less risk. And less risk versus the guy who's married.
No risk.
Yeah, no risk. And unless she get pregnant, that's always a risk. But,
and then he got to come up. So let's be real.
so versus the guy who's making that and taking all the risk.
I've had the fun guy and he still was nagging me about getting a relationship and everything. And I told him this is what it was. This is how it is.
No. That's not what we asked you. We asked you what's the benefit of a dude 150 to 200 wifing you up when you gonna give the same benefits to the fun guy that make 40,000.
But like you talking about coochie looks and stuff like that. Because if we talking about like monetary stuff, then I feel like it's like leeching here.
But most men don't want money from you. How many men actually want your money?
All men want, yes, I get it. All men want coochie. I get that. But like I
So
said,
if you're gonna give him, hold on. So if you're gonna give him your most prized possession, to me, because it ain't your bank account, right? You're gonna give him your most prized possession for $40,000 to be the fun guy. Why would the guy who make 150 to 200 marry you?
I mean, but fun guy don't always have to mean sex, you know? Fun guy could be just traveling. But listen, fun guy doesn't. It could be just traveling. Like even the
bowling? Y'all traveling together?
Do you realize none of the women on the podcast on video right now, they all just disappeared for some strange reason. But
right?
I'm just gonna say, listen, come on.
I love Nurse Shay Shay. I love your content. I love your videos, but I don't think no man is gonna continue to just hang with you.
Listen,
for that long. No.
Thank you.
I want Annie and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't have to give it up. Okay, it's just as simple as that. If I don't,
you don't have to, but you are because he's the fun guy.
Yes, he's the fun guy. Fun guy don't.
He's the fun guy, so of course he's gonna get it.
So I think the bottom line question is that what is the guy who's marrying you getting that the fun guy is not?
Thank you.
He is getting all the love.
The fun guy don't care about that. The fun guy don't care about that though. That's the thing. So that's the question. What is the guy who you're marrying getting versus the fun guy? And the fun guy's getting the most important thing.
The men in that type of range, you are honestly getting with me because of love and me motivating you and everything like that. You're not looking at me for any type of money, all of that. Like honestly, I'm there to motivate you into being a higher power. How do you say a high value person?
But respectfully, if he got that way without you, he don't need you to motivate him.
But listen,
she is not answering the question, CJ.
They tell me different. And
what grown man needs to get motivated by a woman? I'm sorry, I don't know grown men like that.
No, If that's the case, then Nurse Dog
But
could take that Pookie guy and make him a high value man too.
I don't know what range y'all. I mean, we just on a different spectrum. I don't think y'all would get it. You're not a woman. So,
No, what I asked you, but you didn't answer was
unmotivated before they met you.
You said
they're not gonna get motivated.
Somebody's microphone is like going in and out.
All right, what was you about to say, Malik? Go ahead and ask her what you was about to ask her.
So you dealt with men who are unmotivated before they met you.
No, that's not.
But you said you motivate them.
They feel more motivated to keep going. They don't stay stagnant at whatever that they're at compared to the men that made 48,000 and what was it, Walmart, whatever the scenario that you were given.
CJ, look at the comments. CJ, look at the comments. CJ,
like that.
Wow. This is interesting. This is interesting. I gotta get to Roxy real quick, and then we're gonna probably wrap this up. We've been on here for 3 hours.
They ain't done by himself.
CJ, look at the comments. That's all I'm saying. Look at the comments, CJ.
If you're beginning a 150K guy, he has to be somewhat motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Like it takes a level of self-focus and motivation to get there. So you're saying you dealt with guys who you had to motivate or had to give them a boost of motivation. Like
you
see a problem with that?
More, yes, to want more, to not stay.
I think
to be successful at everything he does. You know what I'm saying? I could be the motivating factor there.
But if he making 150 to 200, he already successful.
I can say I agree with the guys on that one because
I think the ladies. I think honestly, I think sometimes that y'all get used to making so much money that you don't see $100,000. Not saying that $100,000 is a lot of money, but it's more than 90% of the country. So I think once y'all make money for so long, y'all forget like everybody don't got it like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why the expectations may be like, that's why people may be shocked. Now you won't get what you want. I mean, you ain't nothing wrong with wanting what you want, but I just think that sometimes the ladies forget, especially nurses who make that much money. Like niggas ain't bringing home $100,000. Like out of 8 guys, you got 7 bringing home $100K. Like that's just not what it is. So I think sometimes y'all may lose sight of that. Especially when y'all making money.
We got to be more realistic in some cases. I can be honest. I can be completely honest. I'm not even gonna like perp. Like in some cases, you got to be realistic because everybody like, and plus, especially with this travel bag, a lot of us female nurses. I'm gonna be completely honest. We done got besides ourselves. Some things we doing now that we wasn't doing pre-pandemic, and we thinking about stuff way differently. And everybody else didn't get no type of not this type of increase.
I got the big stimulus package. I'm gonna just say the big stimulus package.
Right, the stimmy. Okay, so
I
mean, I
can understand. You're talking big money.
Yeah, but
Nurse Roxy, go ahead, please chime in. So we're gonna wrap this joint up in a second.
And what was the question?
Would you, if you never found that man who made what he made, would you be okay with dying alone?
Okay, so I'll be completely transparent. You see this gray hair coming in the front of my head? Okay, I got this gray hair coming from my head. If I didn't lay that on that table, that weight wouldn't have been gone. So I'll just be completely transparent. If I hit the wall and my ish is just ain't looking like nothing, I would have to settle. Because I'm not going to be able to.
That's it.
Most men.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Say that one more time, because I really want to make sure the audience and myself heard you correctly. Say it one more time, please.
I said if I hit the wall, right? Hit the wall. I already got the gray hair coming in. If I ain't laid up on that table, the weight would have been gone. So my metabolism, that already showed me, baby girl, the machine is running a little slower. So before I completely and totally hit the wall, I would settle for whomever, because I am not going to be alone. I am not going to be. I'm not. I don't want to take out trash. I don't want to think about bills. I don't want to worry about. I will adjust my standards. I do not want to be alone.
But CJ, in real life, that's what naturally happens. That's a process. That's a
And I'm aware of that. I was the only guy in nursing school, and I heard nurses talk like this. But it's always interesting to hear them say it again, because usually what you hear is that, well, I want the personality, or he don't have to have this, he don't have to have that. And it's very rare that you get a group of women to speak so transparent and honestly about what they want, what they don't want, and what they will and will not settle for. So that's why I can appreciate what she said. And it's shocking. It's not shocking, but when you hear it, it's almost like, wow. But well, man.
So two of the women I know are over 30. Nurse Shashi, are you over 30? Or
I'm not over 30.
You're not
Oh,
over
don't
30?
get Nurse Dial started. Oh, don't get her started on
I will be 30 November 26th. Don't be aging me,
Oh,
Brandon.
you're a week away. You there. You said
Couple hours.
you're a week away. Don't worry.
Look, and that 30 hit different too, because TT be tired.
If you have an Instagram page, I'll send you a happy birthday or something. I'll send you a happy birthday.
Okay.
But, Nurse Shashi, are you not 30?
I'm 25.
You're 25. Okay. I think when you get older, your views might change a little bit, but it's gonna happen with growth. Like it's gonna happen with growth. Thing like I thought a certain way at 25, and I damn sure don't think nowhere near that no more. And that's a part of life. So I think you saying like, if you don't make that type of money, it ain't gonna happen. You just gonna have your fun guy. But over time, things gonna change. Like everything in life.
I get what you're saying. I'm just at a point in life where I just can't settle. Just can't settle. And I see a lot of family, a lot of fellow other friends, nurses, whatever. A lot of them have settled, and eventually that leads to having thoughts you shouldn't be having. And I know myself, and you'll be on the back burner. You'll be cheated on. So,
and you know what? I do want to add one more thing too.
You said
about people who, like, when you do date men who have a lot of money. Because I had a couple athletes under my belt. One thing about us, though, we got to be honest, and I think me and CJ had this conversation before on our little Kevin Samuels. We had the Pretty Privilege show, that one.
Mm-hmm.
These men be asking you, all right, fly out to Miami tomorrow. You got to go to work.
They basically ask you how much you cost.
22-year-old homegirl.
Cost.
Yeah, then 22-year-old homegirl, she's very available. She be over there, but you can't. So that, sometimes that's the thing too. When you dating guys like that, they are, right now. I need you to come up here right now. Like I can't.
Right now.
What's the price?
I need you to right now. I need you to look like right now. I need you having this on right now and right now. And you like, oh girl, I gotta go to work.
That's what they looking for is the looks. That's what you want. That's why she did the plastic surgery. That's how she got to keep up in her opinion. That's what those type of guys look for.
Yes,
but y'all want money.
Yeah,
but the women want the money.
We want it for her.
And that's why I said 150. I ain't say like because I did. I'm gonna say I can give my business, but that's why I said like a price like that. I wouldn't say like millions of dollars, because those millions of dollar people never worked out with me, because it was just like right now. You need to come up here right now. You need to stay for a week, 2 weeks. We're going over here, and I'm just like I can't do all. You cool and everything. When you in town, I'll holler at you, or when you come to Detroit, we'll have a good time. However,
the fun guy, the rich fun guy.
Yeah, my fun guy ain't be no 48,000 fun guy.
Exactly. They 150.
So you would rather be alone. So that's at the end of the day, if it was significantly low, you'll just deal with it by yourself. Is what you're saying.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking all y'all. So
no, I'm feeling like Nurse Roxy, and because I feel like I'm coming to a certain my grade's gonna come in the front in a minute.
Yeah.
So now
I forgot next week you turn 30. Next week. Hey, CJ, look at the last comment that was put down. But next week,
Brandon, what I need you to do. Brandon, what I need you to do.
No. Look at that. Look at that.
What state you live in?
I live in Florida.
Oh, okay.
I live in Miami.
Okay.
I live in Miami.
Okay.
So
do y'all live or something?
Nurse Shay, do you think because y'all not ugly, y'all feel the way y'all feel? Like if y'all were ugly, like if the world told you y'all was ugly, like on a general basis, like that whole Pretty Privilege video, if you look like Flavor Flav and you knew that you were not what is typically considered pretty, and most men didn't consider you pretty, do you think you would feel the way you feel? Because pretty women, and on top of making a lot of money, y'all live in a world of delusion. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not reality for most people. And if you look like Precious, your standards, I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's because y'all attractive and y'all make money? Y'all feel like that? Or do you think you would feel different if you were ugly?
I think social media has a lot to do with it.
And the world let you know you were ugly. Like that, like according to that woman, the world was letting her know she didn't have pretty privilege. So if the world lets you know that, you maybe can get a nigga that work at Meyer or something like that, but you ain't finna get him. That ain't happening because he rolled with Don. If that was the case, you think y'all would think different?
So Nurse Shay, I want to ask you a question, right?
Wait, hold on. Let me let Nurse Shay answer that. Hold on, go ahead, Nurse Shay.
If I was butt ugly, no, I wouldn't think the same because I would continue to work myself, get on that treadmill, get some surgery, cosmetic surgery or whatever to
attract the man you want.
To be at my highest because that's what makes me feel good. Just like how you feel about money and your status, that's what makes me feel good. So no, I would I'm not settling. I just can't do it. Can't do it.
Okay. What was you about to say, Brandon?
I'm gonna just leave this note because I gotta go. But if anybody want to jump on a live stream in like an hour or 2 hours, let me know. I put my number in the private chat. You can just take it down or whatever. But for Nurse Shay, I just want to ask you: you're an LPN, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pre-pandemic, how much money did you make a year?
That's a good question. Pre-pandemic, I was a nurse 2019 pandemic March. I think I was like, yeah, around that time. Yeah. I don't know, to be honest with you, but it's around 60 something.
Well, you got in the game right at the pandemic, though. You said 2019, right? Like the pandemic was pretty much starting.
I seen it like 2020 around March. That's when it was like really popping off. But pre-pandemic, yeah, I was about 60. Yeah.
60. Mm-hmm. So what state are you in?
I'm in Oklahoma now.
Oklahoma has state taxes, right?
Yeah.
So you probably took home what? State taxes plus federal taxes, 35.
Yeah.
35.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember, but I was.
No, I'm just going by the numbers. Like it's not even like it's not an exact quote, but if you pay federal taxes plus state taxes on 60,000,
I mean 50, 60, one of those.
Okay, so we're gonna use 6. We're gonna go with the high number.
Okay.
Right? You probably paying anywhere from 15 to 20% in taxes because you're paying federal and state. I'm gonna just right. So 20% of your 60,000, I'm gonna put you high 40s. Like let's say you clear 47 in your pocket after taxes and after you pay Oklahoma. But you wouldn't date an RN who made 70 or 80.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
Checking for other nurses. I've done that before. I've seen that.
Okay. Is it because of the lifestyle he's gonna provide you, or because 150 is that number in your head that you want?
No, not that the 150 is in the head that I want. It's I just want a different man with a different mindset, other than
So do you think like the less he earned, and I'm just trying to get, just trying to get in the mind. Do you think the less he earned shows a lot about his mindset as a person?
Yeah, I mean, you could be ambitious and everything like that. Call me when you get to that level. I want you at your
wow.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. I want to ask the ladies a question. Is my mic fine?
Yeah, go ahead. You good?
So, say you had two options, because it's not a secret. The guys who are in that top 5%, they're getting the chicks. They're not having the issue. The issues you guys are having in dating are not the same issue the guys are having. So, say it came down to dating, being one of the many girls of the 200K guy, or being the only woman to the 50K guy. Those are two choices. Which one would you pick?
Look at Nurse Dial.
One of many. I would rather be one of many.
Whoa!
I would rather be one of many.
You know what?
At least you're honest. At least you're honest.
Yes.
I would say 50K because if I was one of many, then I'm probably gonna get about 50K worth of them.
Wait. So, Roxy, you said you'd rather be one of many?
Yes.
Yeah, that is
Because
funny.
the thing about it is,
Why?
I would hope that when I'm with him, that I don't have to deal with nobody knocking on the door.
Oh, you would.
Coming to you as a woman?
Well, no, I'm talking about like people trying to confront me or something like that. I mean, if they weren't trying to confront me, I wouldn't know, and I probably wouldn't care.
Oh,
because he would give me a lifestyle.
So you want the lifestyle?
Most likely going to be giving you a lifestyle. Exactly.
So you want the lifestyle? Okay.
Lifestyle.
I want the lifestyle and the experience.
You're gonna get the experience, but not the lifestyle. You're gonna experience it, but you ain't gonna get the whole lifestyle.
No, probably not gonna get the whole lifestyle if he's divided himself amongst other women. But it would. I know that his mindset will be better. The conversations will be better.
Right.
So
and I
you
know
want to be. So you rather be the main chick. You would rather be the main chick.
No,
me be the main chick.
That's the option. You're one.
That's not an option. I don't mind.
Okay. So it's one of many.
You are
one of many.
Right.
Or you are the main chick to a 50K guy. How about you, Shay Shay?
I'm sorry. So she said one of many to what?
One of many to the 200K guy, the guy you want. You say one of say 7 girls. You are Tuesday. Your name is Tuesday.
You are Tuesday.
Or would you be?
CJ, look at
would you be Sunday through Monday for the 50K guy?
Oh, I'd be many. I want the lifestyle.
Whoa!
Okay. Hold on, CJ. Hold on. I'll just be honest. The guy who make 150 can't give 7 women a lifestyle. Let's be real. That's not enough money.
Okay,
let's be real. Let's be real.
You ain't got enough money to do me like that.
Because after taxes, he only making 115. So what he can't if he give y'all all $15,000, he broke.
And no, that's what I was saying.
Well, okay, so are you?
But the point is, if he has a significant amount of money and a significant amount of resources, you are willing to be one of many versus the only one to a low earning man.
I would pick 50,000.
Not low earning average. This is 50K.
Average.
I would pick 50,000 because he said 200,000. Correct? That's what you said, Malik.
But you guys said 200,000. So the guy you guys want,
200,000 ain't enough to do me like that.
Right, come on. You said that.
You ain't gonna do me bad. Just because you got 200,000, you're gonna do me wrong. But at that point,
he's not doing you bad. He being open and honest with you though. He said, "No, I'll mess with you, but." Okay,
but he said I had to choose. If it was a perfect world where I didn't have to choose, I would just choose nobody. But he's telling me
you got to choose another option. Yeah,
it'd be 50,000 because I feel like if he got 12 million girls, I mean, he gonna offer just about as much as the $50,000 person.
Right. I respect your answer.
You said do you just really disrespect the $50,000 man like that?
Well, I'm a number.
Wow, you just said the guy who you say he's giving me just as much, but you're the only one. But you say he giving me just as much as the guy with the mini.
Because I'm thinking we're talking about relationships versus dating. Are we talking about like in this scenario? We're talking about dating or relationship, like marriage / Well,
I mean, it's 2 different options.
You can't marry a guy who got multiple women.
Yeah,
you can. A lot of people do. A lot of people do though. They do.
You can't marry 7 women. You can't marry 7 women. Let's be real.
I ain't gonna. My friend Young Jock is married to homegirl, and she just
No. That's a Young Jock is not a representation of a high value person. He's an entertainer, and he's.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been fun. We have to do this again. I'm gonna put the big screen on everybody so everybody can shout out their platforms. We've been on here 313. I ain't even 8 yet. But go ahead, Malik. Do your thing.
Hey, I'm not on YouTube, but you can find me on IG, Leek Smitty, LEEK Smitty, SMITH. I'm sorry, TTY, my fault.
Oh, get it right.
Yeah, right. I appreciate it though, guys.
Yeah. Let me see. All right. Wait, hold on. All right, go ahead, bro.
So I don't have a YouTube page. I don't have an Instagram. I work too much to be on YouTube and Instagram like that. But if anybody needs to reach me, my phone number is in the private chat. I'm willing to go on anybody's platform if you have one. We can have an open dialogue discussion. That's basically it. I don't have a platform, but if anybody wants to meet up, just message me. Somebody just messaged me from the group. Somebody just messaged me. So
All right. All right. Wow, this was a good conversation, bro. Go ahead, Nurse Dial.
Okay. Hey, I'm Nurse Dal. I'm actually going to talk to y'all for 3 hours, but hey. My Instagram is nurse dot Dal. My Facebook is DialRN. I don't have any other. I'm actually starting a YouTube, which is really funny because I'm a really weird eater. So I'm about to be eating some weird shit. So go ahead and join my YouTube. It's called Dial Eats. And I'll send y'all a link if y'all want the link.
Yeah, send us the link.
Yeah.
Nurse Shay Shay.
Okay, hey everybody, it's Nurse Shay Shay. You can follow me on YouTube. It's Nurse Shay Shay. My IG is Shayla DESHAYYYY4Y. We talk about controversial topics with nursing, so go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and there's more videos right now.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Roxy. You muted, Miss Roxy. You muted.
The big screen. I mean, anyway. So I have an IG ACD4N, the letter A, the letter C, the letter D. No, I like that better. I want to be up close.
Go ahead.
ACD4N, the letter A, the letter C, D, the number 4, and the letter N. ACD4N. It is I actually started a consultation service to teach nurses about medical coding, not medical billing and coding, medical coding, ICD 10 coding, and like some aspects of informatics. So yeah, that's my IG and also my website. So it's small, growing. I'm still working on the curriculum, but there's some content on the website if you go on the website. So that's it. Again, the letter A, C, D, the number 4, and N. Thank you.
ACD. You said ACD what?
ACD4N. A is in apple, C is in cat, D is in diamond, 4 is in the number 4, and N is in Nancy.
That's your IG?
That is my IG. That is my Twitter, and that's also my my website, www.acd4n.com.
Bet. All right.
And I will be following everybody's channels after this.
Yeah. Would you come back, Nurse Roxy, for the panel?
I would definitely. I'd be more prepared. I'd be a little bit glammed up. I was in my Sunday straight out the shower mode. So thank you for even letting me be on the panel.
Bet. No problem. This was great. Yo, I appreciate everybody for being here. But before y'all go, I have to give y'all my joke of the day. Are y'all ready?
Yes.
All right. What does a baby computer call his father? What does a baby computer call his father? Data.
Shut up. Dad joke for me. It's the dad joke.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the show. I appreciate y'all being here. I learned so much from everybody here. I loved hearing the ladies and the fellas' perspective, and if we can link up again, I would definitely be hollering at all y'all individually. Nurse Roxy, is there a way you could put your email in a private chat?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, throw your email in a private chat, and I'm gonna end the broadcast. But if y'all want to say something to each other, before, after this is over. When the camera is up, then that's cool. So, all right, y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all in a minute. Deuces.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna let
All
y'all.
right.